おかえりなさい。今日は何をしましょうか。
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the stream. I am Curly, and today we have a very special Mahjong Monday. We are going to be doing our second of 3 lessons with top 25, ignore the fact they lost a few placements, one of the top players on Mahjong Soul, Wrath_SS, or we just call him Wrath. Let me get these lights a little different. Yeah, I'll figure that out later. Yeah, so we had our first lesson with him about 2 weeks ago, and you can check the VOD for that on my YouTube channel. You can also check all the other videos that I make on Mahjong content. Chilling. But yeah, we have our second lesson lined up in about 10 minutes or so. Let me actually message him to make sure that everything's like kind of set up, and you can just like call us whenever. Let me turn down the music as well. So for this, we are going to be turning off text-to-speech, so we're not distracted during the lesson. But we will be fielding questions. If any of you all have any questions in chat about anything he's teaching us, like feel free to ask it, and we'll try to get to it whenever we have like good moments. Hi, Maltohana. How's it going?
/o/.
Oh, thank you very much. So based off of the lessons that we've done before, I would say that we are playing more informed Mahjong. We're not necessarily playing better Mahjong, but the decisions that we are making are and the misplays that we are doing are definitely more informed. So I definitely have been I've been still like doing misplays, like let me just get it real. But at least I know going in, it's like, all right, this is probably not gonna work out, but either I'm just like, fuck it, and I just send it because maybe it's like a high risk or a high reward for a really bad risk. Or I don't know, I'm just like autopiloting at that point. But then I recognize I'm autopiloting. We had to watch a video.
More informed is good. ESP allows to benefit from losses and others wins.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it lets me just like have a better idea of like what the hell is actually going on with it. And I'm not like stuck in it makes it so that I'm not just like up against a wall, essentially. This light's a little too bright for my liking. Feel that a bit. All right, it feels a little better. Oh yeah, let me just send him a message. Yeah, so we're not starting for another like 7 minutes or so, give or take. We were supposed to start at like 7. Yeah, hope you all had a great weekend. You haven't seen me around because I've been fucking head first deep into a new JRPG. I finished it, but I basically no-lifed it. It's a RPG that I was talking about last time I was streaming, and it's called 13 Sentinels. And it's a hell of a ride. It's a visual, it's not really a JRPG. I mean, it kind of is. It has some JRPG like combat to it, but for the most part, it's a visual novel. And the whole shtick is that it's like a sci-fi, supposedly time travel, it's a time travel like game, but it's also got a lot of other sci-fi elements to it. And you follow the storylines of 13 protagonists. That's why it's called 13 Sentinels. And each of them has like a bit of the story through like their lens, and you kind of jump around between them trying to piece together what the hell is going on. Each kind of section, it's like tends to have its own like big reveal. So kind of the fun of it is seeing which path you kind of take to kind of unreal the story. Eventually you play in order to beat the game, you have to play as everyone, and you get the entire story as much as you can figure it out. But I was just like completely no-lifing it. Like as soon as I'm done with work, immediately playing it until I go to bed, wake up, do work, play the game, and just try and got through it. I got through it within the week. But I just wanted to no-life it. I wanted to get it in, get it out of the way, because if I took too long on it, like if I took too long of a break, I would have completely forgotten what had happened previously. And also I would have been kind of like in the back of my mind kind of like obsessing over, oh man, maybe it's this, what is this, what is this, what is it, could be it. It's definitely a really great RPG to check out. It was only like $30 for like the physical disc, and it's on PlayStation 4. Highly recommend it if you get a chance for it. The combat on it's hilarious. It's kind of like a RPG. It's like a JRPG tower defense where you have like dudes that you have your mechs that can like throw out attacks in like wide areas to basically defend like your core essentially. But towards the end, they throw like hundreds of dudes out there to the point where I could physically hear my PlayStation 4 Pro, which is like it's like supposed to be the advanced one, like its fans revving up. And once you got to like the last level, it's so many dudes that it was my PlayStation 4 chugged down to like a 15 frame rate when it was going. And sometimes it would like, I would do an action and it would take like 3 to 5 seconds for it to like process what the hell just happened and for it to render everything. It's kind of crazy. Took a little while to get used to the combat because it's kind of, the UI for the combat is a lot to be desired. That's like my biggest complaint about the game. But that's like the only real complaint about it. But yeah, that's 13 Sentinels. If you got time if you're into sci-fi and you got either a week of nothing else to do, or you have like a month of like, you know, a bit of time in between, I definitely highly recommend it, especially if you're into like visual novels and such. All right, we're still waiting. Okay, Rav just got back to me. We're gonna be he's gonna be jumping on 7:05
today again. Swift Rage.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing our second lesson with Wrath. He'll be jumping on in the next about 7 minutes or so. I know he said that a few minutes ago, but he wanted to get delayed. He's running a few minutes late, which is fine. All right, but how have you all been, chat? How has your weekend been? I'm trying to stall for content and I got nothing, so I need you guys to fill it. How have you all been? How was your weekend? I actually had a pretty fun weekend. After I made sure that I was like done with the game, we went out into Washington, D.C. So I live in like the Washington, D.C. area. I'm not going to tell exactly where I am. Don't want to get too doxxed. But every year they host what's called like a cherry blossom festival. It's not necessarily you go like watch the cherry blossoms. They were kind of past bloom and it was really fucking cold out. But they have like a street festival that they do, where you have like Japanese vendors. You have of like anime goods. You have Japanese vendors for like foods, a lot of different kinds of foods. And you also have a bunch of places that are like Japanese associations. Like you'll have the JET program. You'll have like, there was one company that was trying to get like a maglev train built from DC over to New York. They're not even close to doing that, but they're just kind of trying to push for it. There's a lot of cool stuff there. This year was a little less crowded in terms of like vendors this year, because I don't think they knew they were going to do it until February. So a lot of people didn't have time to sign up. I know there's a brewery that we like going to that's local to us that would supply like they would make their own like cherry blossom beer basically, but we didn't see any of that there. Also I think because my wife like drank all of them, has drinking all of them. We live near like the microbrew where they make it, and it's my wife's like favorite beer, like bar none. She doesn't drink that many, so the ones that she does, she holds on to. Every week, or like not every week.
Quarterfinals happened on weekend.
Oh yeah, there was like a tournament going on. That's right. I'm, as much as I am like shilling on like trying to ride the Mahjong coattail, I actually don't pay too much attention to high level Mahjong. Well, I don't really like follow it as much. I probably should. I don't know. A lot of it is like I never know when they're happening. But I mean, that's something that I could fix myself like fairly easily. Yeah, I did see that Wrath was one of the contenders on the Saki tournament, I believe. Maybe he was. I'm like 90% sure he was. I saw things about it. Today. Yep, we got another coaching session. We'll be having Wrath in here in about a couple of minutes. He's running a little bit late.
He was laughing face.
Yeah, he was. All right, he was in the tournament. Yeah, so
Gotta
Sake
get the
tournament
free knowledge.
contender Wrath will be
Our
helping
team
us.
played him in last round.
Oh, nice. That's kind of crazy to me. It's like I wouldn't say like the community is like small per se, just because it's very far reaching, but you tend to see a lot of the same faces, especially in like the higher levels, it seems. Before Wrath joins on, I'm just going to reiterate the rules because part of a streamer is that you have to repeat yourself. I will be turning off text-to-speech and the music when we are doing our session with Wrath. If you guys have questions about anything that we're talking about, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I'll try to like pull them in when we have like moments to stop about it. Oh yeah, I'm super excited. The last lesson was mostly like reestablishing the basics, just making sure that we're on the same page. So there wasn't a whole lot of new information for me per se, but it's a lot of like kind of reaffirming, and maybe it's like slightly building on some things I've already known. Let's see what we got. Yeah, still got some time to kill. What do we got this week? I'm probably actually not going to be streaming too much this week, beyond like my normal Mahjong Mondays, which you guys have all become accustomed to. I'm trying to get some more time in on my next video. I lost basically an entire week of editing. Not an entire week, but for the most part, like a week of editing due to 13 Sentinels. So I need to make up some of that lost time if I want to try to stick to my loose release schedule. Fortunately, this video is not going to be it's just not as long as some of the others. Like a bunch of the other videos, they clock in at about, let's actually just look at it. Let me just look at it real fast. Let me bring it up. Yeah, these videos are like 19, 17, 22, 23. And a lot of that is also with like, these ones have like the 3-minute intro. Yeah, all these have 3-minute intro. Does this one? I don't remember this one does. No, it does not. I did not make the intro. Also, by the way, if you haven't already, please go to my YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. Ha 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 ha. Anyway. But most of these videos and these games only last about like, on average, 16 minutes. The one that I'm editing down is like 13 minutes. So even though it's like 3 minutes, it doesn't seem that long. That's legitimately at the pace that I go, like almost a full day, like maybe a day and a half of editing. Yeah, it's some time. I'm gonna be trying to work on that as I
Brian
continue.
Kibler feels Goodman.
Oh man, I wish I had that level of, wait, what was the term? Notoriety? Oh, is that the right word? I don't know. He has his own editor because I mean I've seen his videos. He's able to do the strategy of releasing every day.
I saw him in your subscription list.
Oh yeah. Am I sub to him? Oh yeah. I am actually, as much as I shill trying to sub to people, I actually don't sub to many people. I didn't get into the habit of pressing the sub button for people until like recently, until I started doing it essentially. Yeah, Kibler's pretty cool. I've known him, well, I don't know him, but I have been aware of him and his content since like Magic the Gathering days, even before he did Hearthstone. Like even before Hearthstone was out, like I knew who Brian Kibler was. Just because he was a Pro Tour winner. Was he he wasn't a Hall of Famer by then. But he was like a Pro Tour player. This was back in the day on Magic the Gathering, where they would actually try to push the players within their products. So when you get the booster packs, it's now always like a token, but you always get like an extra insert card in your booster pack. Sometimes it's a land, sometimes it's like a token, I think. For a little bit when I started playing, this is like late 2000s, they would have these like pro player cards that would have like pictures of like the top play, you know, the Magic Pro Tour players, and like Brian Kibler was one of them too. Dude looks young in those compared to now. He's like what, 40 or something. That's also a thing that makes me feel a little better about myself, is that you can have like your Brian Kiblers who are just basically old fogies at this point, relatively. And it's like, all right, I still got like a good like decade ahead of me of being able to generate content and not feel like I'm out of it. That's another thing I'm also trying to do with the newest video. I'm trying to come up with a way for the video to be more inviting to new players.
Ready in a few minutes.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Yeah, just give me a Discord call whenever you're ready, Wrath. I'm just desperately stalling for content. Stalling for time, rather. Oh, what else? Now that I'm done with my 13 Sentinels obsession, I need something else to kind of time. I'm at the terrible spot now where I tend to like to binge shows when I can. Like, I just like getting fully absorbed in a show or like some sort of medium and like obsessed, like basically obsessing from like beginning to end for it.
Watch Mahjong anime.
Watch Mahjong anime. I've seen like Akagi. Do I do just an Akagi rewatch? Maybe. In a minute. I would definitely. It actually would be kind of fun to do an Akagi rewatch after we do these lessons with Wrath. I gave Saki an episode. I'm just not into it. I don't know. Like honestly, I'm gonna be real. I'm kind of over anime girls. Like anime high school girls. I'm just over it. I'm not interested in their antics, even if it does involve Mahjong. Ooh, actually, speaking of sci-fi, now that I'm realizing it, I never actually got far in Steins Gate. So that's one that I need to add to my. I might actually just watch that. Yeah, that should actually be on my next list. I always got like a few. I don't think I've made it past episode 3. Not because of the show itself, because the show is very like sit down and have characters kind of dialogue at you, especially Steins Gate, where the characters
Steins Gate starts very slow.
Yeah, like the characters kind of ramble on for a while, and I wasn't ever in like a mindset or in like a place to kind of like power through it. I know it like pays off really well, but yeah, it's kind of like they kind of just lull about for a while talking about stuff. I'm sure all that stuff kind of like comes up and is relevant later, but yeah, it's just what it is. Steins Gate I should check out. That'll probably just be my next one. Yeah, but with the new anime season starting, I don't tend to watch the week to week, with some exceptions. If the anime is like been out for a while and I'm like it's mostly out, I'll probably like bite the bullet and just watch it and then like wait the last like week and like watch it up weekly. But now that the new season's out and basically everything I wanted to watch I've already watched and finished, I don't know what to watch next. So I watched Ranking of Kings, which is awesome.
I also had my edgy anime only phase, but I come full circle and embrace the cute girl animes.
I wouldn't say edgy anime only, but you gotta give me more than they're in high school. I need a bit more than that.
Been a while since I really watched anime. Akagi plus Kaiji were the last ones I really watched in a while, and that was end of last year.
Okay, word.
Nice lofi stream backdrop.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I got this. This is an animated wallpaper from, what was it? It's like basically just animated wallpaper on Steam. It's like a couple of bucks to get the program, but then you can like download a bunch. It's really cool because I have different screens on different. I have like different things on different monitors. Let me see. You might get some OBS like loop, but on the monitor that I have my OBS on, let me switch this. Hopefully this doesn't break everything. You're on primary. Nope, not that one. That's you guys. Yeah. I have this
Okay,
like.
I am ready when you are.
Okay,
Sorry
cool.
if I interrupted earlier.
No. I'm desperately trying to like stall as long as I can before you get in here. All right, let me do a few things real fast. Let me kill the music. Let me turn off that. Let me turn off text. Sorry, guys, you're gonna be unmuted for a while. All right, and cool. You can. Oh, did I miss your call? There we go. There we go. Oh, it's because I had streamer mode, so I couldn't see it.
Okay. Look.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
How's it going?
Things are going pretty well. How about you?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. I'm also having a bit of. I'm still eating here, so.
Oh, okay.
But that's gonna be fine.
All right.
So, first of all, like obviously starting out, like there's a lot of things that happen like in session one. Like maybe you have some questions. Like, do you have any questions about that or?
Not necessarily in questions because we were able to cover a lot of it was like stuff that I mostly knew. And it was like establishing the basics. I was able to do a rewatch on the video that you sent me, and I definitely understand it a lot better on the second watch through. I think some of that was also, as I said, I was streaming it when I was watching it, and so I was like engaging with chat. It was in Japanese, so I couldn't like I wasn't able to commit my entire brain power to it. But after I did, I have a really good understanding of it. But I did have one question, and let me pull up the video just so understanding, or just so it's all here for everyone.
Okay.
Oh. That's probably loud. All right, so this is the video that you sent. The last bit in the end, when they're talking about like how to read your opponent's hand, I get that. I get the theory behind it a little bit, but is this honestly a thing that like I should be really focusing on now? It seems that it's like it's gonna be too. It's like it feels like a little too advanced for what I'm trying to do for not enough reward, and it actually might screw me over in the end if I mess it up.
I mean, that this video is mostly about the different Iishatens. Right?
Yeah, the Iishatens I got figured out. I was just wondering about this last bit.
I mean, like this channel and a lot of Japanese channels. There are like some really advanced players, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's gonna be a lot more to learn, but like right now, that's not what we're gonna be focused on. We're gonna make sure we get all the basics and get all the bases covered first, and then after that, if we need to go any deeper, then we'll try that. But like I think we should still try to like have focus on like different like more fundamental things like Ricci and like looking at some numbers and stuff like that. So
yeah, we can do that. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. So for chat here also, I have a little recap on that video. So let's just grab some materials on that and talk about that.
Okay.
So let me.
Okay, and the video in question for those who haven't seen is that right there. Oh god, that link is super long because oh wow, it actually has the Japanese characters in my search bar, so that's why.
I see.
Terrifying.
Okay, so I'm gonna share this little this one.
Okay, let me get your screen over here. Should I do pop out actually? Hang on a sec. Let me do pop out. Okay. Where'd it go? No.
Oh.
Where is it? Yeah, where is it?
Is it still on the? Oh yeah, I still have it here, but yeah, maybe you need to
Pop out player, where'd it go? Like showing up, but it's like not on my screen. Oh well, whatever. I'll just
I'll share this link in the chat first, and then maybe you can just open it in one of.
Yeah, I'm just gonna open it over here. I was trying to get a little fancier with it. All right, I see you.
Okay, so yeah, maybe it's a bit okay. I need to zoom in then. Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
zoom in quite a lot. So here, so we're talking about like 4 different types of Iishantens, right? So
Yeah.
the very standard one is, for example, this one.
Yeah.
Like where like
Let me see if I can get ahead of you, just so I can see if I've learned it. So the Yoju High is
Mhm.
what was it? 2 head, 2 sequences, as I call them, and then
Mhm.
1 like a floating tile essentially. And it's
Mhm.
like the tile that you know that you're gonna guaranteed like discard once you
Mhm.
draw one of your other tiles. The difference between this first row and the second row is that you're floating. In the first row, the floating tile is just completely separate from everything else. You're just going to discard it
Mhm.
guaranteed. Where the second
Mhm.
one, it's a little more contextual because that floating tile is actually potentially could be part. You have multiple floating tiles technically
Mhm.
because you could draw something else to utilize that tile that's considered floating.
Mhm. Okay. Yep. Those are the 2 that are more straightforward. Now the third one and the fourth one are the more special. Like you wouldn't think of, like this not something you would normally think of, and it's
Nah,
actually like considered better than the first 2. It goes from like from the start like worst to best, right? So the
right.
first one is but like obviously there are other Ishan tens that are like not even close to this one. For example, like a bad weights or like a couple bad weights or what, like also complex shapes. But like these are the very general um, uh, types of Ishan tens.
Yeah,
So the third one here, like we called it the headless Ishan ten, which like by name, like that means like you don't have your pair,
right.
and you have like your other shapes. In which case, like it is around for like a 30 tile acceptance actually. So it is significant. I'll talk about the efficiency part in a bit, but this is
Okay.
what headless content means, and then like at the other case is that this is also a headless Ishanten, but you have a triplet.
Yeah,
Like the
that's kind
first,
of like that's like kind of one of the cool things that you can do with it is that if you have like that triplet, you're probably going to potentially use it as your pair, so you can just drop the extra one.
yeah. So the first one here, the issue is that let's say you complete like one of these sequences, right? And then
Mhm.
at the end you have a tanki weight, like a single tile weight, right? Because you completed all the sequences, but then you have to drop like either like let's say you draw a 1 and then like you have to draw either a 7 or an 8, right? And then
Yeah,
that would be a single tile weight.
yeah, it sucks.
While on yeah, while this one is no matter how you draw, it's going to be a good weight because let's say you draw like let's say you draw 1, right? Then you can
Yeah,
drop the 2 pin,
yeah,
making that into a pair. And then
yeah,
like if you let's say you draw a 2 soul instead, then you drop the 3 soul, and that's still a good weight.
yeah.
So
You
here
technically
are
have all these bamboos could technically be your pair.
mhm. So
Also, real
so we
quick,
usually
Psycho Freak
consider
01 and JV Matsuru, thank you so much for the follow. All right, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So like we really like this one, for example.
Yeah,
I would consider this one like even better than this one because like every single weight you can get is a good going to be a good weight, like a
yeah,
two-sided weight of some sort. The last one is called Kutsuki, or like a sticky Yishanten.
right.
This one looks really special in that like you have like actually you have like sequences complete, right? And
Yeah,
also the pair. And then you have like these 2 loose tiles, right? At the beginning, if you didn't know, like you wouldn't think like these 2 loose tiles would be so great. But
that's definitely has been my biggest takeaway since
mhm,
from the video and like
mhm,
kind of learning that where it's like wait, before I would consider these tiles as like, oh, they're bad, you throw them away because they're not attached to anything, but they
mhm,
actually have a lot of potential to become something because you're accepting for, you have 4 tiles of acceptance between those 2, and they can become a very good weight. Well, 6 technically if you want the uh if you get the pairs for them.
well, here like drawing anything between 1 to 9 are all tenpai, right? Let's say you draw a 1, that's still a
Yeah.
it's a bad weight, but
Oh
it's
yeah, I
still
guess yeah, that's true. It's true. It's not. Yeah. Yeah, like they're bad. Yeah, they're bad weights if you don't if you get like the 1 and the 9, but it's still putting you that one closer. It's still great acceptance.
Yeah. So here you can at least think about it as like how like a tile has a net around it, right? Like you know how like
Yeah.
I think that's one way of thinking about
Yeah,
it.
that's actually how I visualize it. It's like it's kind of like your hand is kind of like a web or like a net, and you're trying to catch other tiles that are coming at you.
Yeah. So here you can see that this 3 and 7 is catching every single Zosu tile, right? Like let's say you maybe draw 3 that's a Champon, like a 2 pairs, like trying to get the triplet. So you can at least like appreciate how like how many tiles you're waiting for. You're waiting for an entire suit. So like that's basically like a little more than a fourth, like less than a third, because like there are 3 major suits and also like honors and dragons, but like
that's like
somewhere
7.
between a third and
Yeah,
a
it's
fourth.
just barely over a fourth.
Mm-hmm. So that's why this one is considered in terms of Iishaten, this is considered the best.
Right.
Getting it to tenpai the quickest, like the most most tiles accepted. And how this is possible is that like you completed all the other sequences, right?
Yeah,
You
everything else
completed
is
your
done.
rest of your hand, which also like in another way of putting it is like if you complete your blocks like earlier, that's better. Like like here, like you have like the first example here, like you have blocks that are not complete, right? Like you have like 2 sequences and a pair, and then you have like these 2 sequences that are not complete, and you're waiting for them.
Yeah.
The second one we call that a perfect Iishaten. That's what we usually call it in English. And also, well, that's what Rishi Book 1 would say. This is called a perfect Iishaten.
Okay, okay, yeah, you have the 4s right as like
Okay, so
okay.
okay, we're gonna get into a book about this because like these Iishatens are actually very worthy of study because like you get Iishatens all the time, right? So that's why we want to take a look at that. And we got a pretty new book. This is a new book that was translated, fully translated recently.
Oh, okay. Getting some of that new material in here.
Yeah, so let me share that with you. I'll also share a link.
Okay.
Okay, so give me a second here. The link is where's the link? Yeah, the Uzaku book. Yeah, that's the latest one. Like before, there was like maybe there were 7 chapters, but now it's fully translated. So we're just gonna this book is also pretty good for intermediate players. Like there's nothing like too advanced on it, but there's some like new concepts and stuff. So definitely like also like some like interesting art, like good artwork. And
it's like it's like the first chapter is blocks, so it's like kind of already assuming.
Yeah, so it's going to talk about blocks a lot. There's 5 blocks, there's 6 blocks, like, and talk about like different like in like these are like more like tile efficiency, like complex shapes and different shapes. I'm not going to go through the book. Like I'm just going to jump to the interesting part.
Yeah.
So is it this one? Let me see.
Very well made. I like the layout of it.
Yeah, there's some like artwork here too. So I think it's like page like 50 something. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah. So here like we talk about like here heads, right? Heads means pairs.
You are no longer sharing your screen.
Oh. Okay.
If you were expecting that, by the way.
Oh. Do you see it now? I mean, maybe you need to like get out and get back in or something. I still see my in Discord. I still see it here.
Oh, really?
I could try redoing it if you can.
Yeah, try like unsharing and resharing.
Okay.
So you're still sharing the screen, but it's like blank. So maybe make sure that
Really?
you're sharing your monitor and not just a program or a window.
Hmm. Give me a second here. Yeah, sometimes you could get a blank, but like you have to like escape out or something like that. There's some like if you click on my image, you're gonna get like a blank screen.
Yeah.
Like you maybe.
Oh wait, there it is. Okay, there it is. I see it. I see it. I think it was on my end. Oh, okay. I see what was going on because you switched over or something. It defaulted back over to profile pic essentially. There we go.
Mm. So, like this book is mostly about efficiency. So
Yeah.
definitely a good stuff about fundamental, like just learning. Like here we like this chapter like talked about two heads, like and like heads means like pairs, right?
Yeah.
So how like three pairs is like the worst, like
Yeah.
because like two is like a
Yeah,
very
that I
good.
remember going that being gone over in Richie Book 1.
Mhm. Now we're going to talk about see if I can just jump. No, I can't. So let me just type it in. Oh. Um, yeah, give me a second here.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
thought it was here, but it's actually let me see. Complex shapes, finding weights, knowing your acceptance, maybe 44. Mm. Okay, maybe I need to do it this way. Let me maybe try search. Yeah, it's just not coming up. Prospective upgrades. Start from the beginning. Search for 20. Okay, I think this is it. I thought there's a little better table than this, but I don't see it. Then give me a second. 26.
Are you looking for a specific graphic?
Yeah, there's sort of like a table for this type of thing. But like this book has so many like graphics and stuff, and that's not. So basically, what we want to talk about is that yeah, it's comparing weights maybe one. Yeah, it's not the first time I use this as material. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair
yeah,
enough.
because that's why I'm kind of confused about it.
No problem.
Okay, I can't find it. Okay, so first of all, like we know that the first one was like two. This is, like first of all, it's 16, right? So 16. Like this one, right? Like you have this type of shape, like that's the normal two sequences, right? Like waiting for.
Yeah.
So that's the first one in that efficiency thing, and we know that's four kinds at 16 tiles,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the basis of like your analysis. Like you start off with this one because this one is like pretty much like the most common one. That's
Yeah,
what
you're
you
just
kind
trying
of look
to
for.
build out your sequences.
Yeah, this is what you kind of look for, and this is where you start off from. Like the headless one and the Kutski is actually less likely. It's just like
Yeah,
because like it's so
this is the
wide.
kind of thing that I'm doing when I'm just, for lack of a better term, autopiloting. I'm just trying to make sure that I have sequences that when I get tempi on either side of on either one, that it's a open weight.
Mhm. So here, we talk about the perfect Iishaten, right? So, yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for, by the way.
Okay,
So,
cool.
so here, like with this seven being part of like so this loose tile is actually useful now, right? So it's
Yeah.
part of a pair. So now six kinds are 20 tiles instead. So
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are numbers that you kind of have to you kind of just know, like it's just like because there's just a couple of numbers, right? Like so
Okay,
like
so this is the kind of thing where it's just like you should just kind of memorize, and it's just
yeah, it makes it a little easier just to be able to evaluate like what's how good your weight is or how many tiles are left and stuff like that. Just
yeah,
like let's say you like in a real game situation, right? Like you know how like sometimes like the four pins are kind of running low and other things are running out. I mean, like you have kind of have to subtract and try to figure out like, oh, is my weight getting a bit too bad? And
yeah.
if so, maybe you gotta call something and try to win a one hand sometimes maybe.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I can see that. Yeah, that's
So
definitely
these,
something I've been running into recently. Just trying to have a better try to be better aware about my weights, especially based off of what other people have discarded and what I'm actually waiting on.
mhm. Yeah, so these are pretty standard fundamental numbers like 16, and then like once you get to perfect Ishanten, you get a +4 over that, and then you
Right.
can do subtractions after that. Um, then the next one is like the headless one, right? So let me try searching headless and see if I can find it here. Yeah, no head, right? So this is no
Mhm.
head. So sometimes like you get like some by default like the number is 28. I don't. Let me see if I can find a 28 here. Let's just try to work it out. Maybe that's not really not. Ah, this one. Right. So here, so let's say you have a hand that look like problem A here, right?
Okay.
You guys see that? Okay. So here you have two. Actually, like let's say you're trying to decide what to do here. You
Right.
actually have two choices. Exactly two choices here. You're either dropping the 2 pin and go headless, or
Right.
you drop the 1 3 pin and go like the other one, right?
Yeah. Have the
The
two be
two
the same.
sequences.
Yeah.
So those are both valid choices, right? So we kind of analyze and see what that means.
Okay.
So the first of all, like let's say you drop the 2 pin and go headless.
Yeah.
So you have 8 kinds, 28 tiles. So like here,
Okay.
I'm just gonna read this. Cutting 2 pin, that's the larger acceptance. But if a Ronman joint completes first, we end up with a Tanki weight. So
Remind me what Tonki means.
the single tile weight.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about let's say you have this, right, and you
Yeah.
completed the sequence, you end up with a single tile weight.
Yeah.
So so here this is like another number that people know. Like just like if you have this shape and you want to go this route, like you want to take the headless route, then
Hmm.
like there are 12 tiles that will get you a good tempi. There are 16 tiles that will get you a bad tempi. So you have a here 57% chance of getting a Tanki weight.
Right.
because you could either draw like, let's say 5, 6, 2, 3. That's 3 times 4 is 12.
Yeah.
That's how you get this 12 out of 28
Yeah.
number.
And you may answer this a little later, but that was something I was running into in a game fairly recently between our last lesson and this. I get to a point where maybe I have a pair, but then I cut it for a reason or another, and then I'm taking a lot of time and energy trying to get that pair back. Is it, if you have a pair, should you just try to hold on to it, or are you ever like, is it generally okay to cut your pair, or should you just try to hold on? I know this is a very general question.
Yeah, at the end it's about like your winning hand needs to have a pair, right? That's what you need to do. And if you cut away your pair, like you have to find it somewhere else. I mean, just you can't because like other things are free tile blocks, right? But the pair is a special thing that's of 2 tiles, which if you think about it, it's actually like easier to complete because it only consists of 2 tiles. Like let's say like you could have a hand and then like you could just draw it like into a pair, but like sometimes that would break up your sequences of blocks too, right? So
yeah, it doesn't actually like it kind of nets you nothing because you get your pair, but then you lose your sequence.
Yeah. So at the end, like it's still about like the answer to that is still about like 5 versus 6 blocks. Like if your hand has like more than enough blocks, then you could be able to do that. But like if your hand is like just has exactly 5 blocks, then you're like those things are pretty much stuck. And
okay, fair enough.
Your pair is stuck. Your other blocks are kind of stuck until you can like get a better like get an upgrade. Like that's like let's say the 6th block you draw into a upgrade. Let's say you have a loose tile that's like a 5, like that 5 soul, for example, and then you drew a 6 soul, right? Obviously, that's a good block. Yeah, that's you, and so you could think about like breaking something else, like that's less value of this. So you evaluate your blocks, but like the pair, obviously, like you want to in your mind, you need to be able to recognize which block is your pair or what is your so like even like in the book, right, like we want to have 2 pairs so that they could be interchangeable. Like we don't want to have 3 pairs, and overall like we kind of don't want to go headless either. So two pairs is ideal. 1 pair is fine. Like you probably don't want 0 unless you like, because like again like this headless type of situation is not very common,
right?
Because like you have to complete everything else first. That's why it's not very common.
That's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, so like once you see this, it's like, wow, you get like 8 times 28 tiles. Wow, but like it just happens like not that often. So here, like we talked about this situation, right? So we talked the other situation. We already said that it's 4 kinds, 16 tiles. So like here, like we here's like little pros and cons, right? So like if you go this way, like maybe like if you go this way, right? Like let's say let's call this example number 2.
Yeah.
Let's call this example number 1.
Yeah. Sounds
let's
good.
say we go the second route. We know that's a pin through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
cut that. Yeah, you're eventually getting rid of the 1, and yeah, you're basically on pin through. Wait for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that provides value. Like it you locked in your pin through rate, right? And you know this is a good weight.
Yeah, it's a pretty good weight because you're on the double edge. No matter which side, you'll get it, either the 5 or 6 of the dots or the 2-3 of bamboo weight 4. And yeah, we'll probably get people throw out 1s all the time if they haven't already.
Yeah. So in a game, like if you get a hand that looks like this is something that like there are 2 very valid choices, and these are pros and cons that are weighed. Going the first route here, you may end up with a tanky weight, like 57% of the time. But like, I'm gonna give you another example. We just talked about it today, actually, in my Discord. So just find that right now. I think it's over here. Yeah, we just happened to be talking about this before. So let me share this with you then. Hold on. So I'm gonna stop and then I'm gonna start again because it's
Okay.
Oh, actually, how's this gonna work?
Oh, you can actually show the Discord.
Oh, I know what to do. Okay, hold on. So let me take an image of this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little complicated because I need to share the Discord.
I mean, you could also quote the thing in the chat because I'm in your Discord.
Right.
You can also do that, and I can bring up my Discord.
Right. So let me see. Okay, give me a second. Let me find it. Yeah, this one. So copy message link, I guess, right?
Sure, yeah. Try that.
I guess so. Does that look right? Let me see.
Yep, it took me right to it. I have the one with the Akatsuki, the bot, where it has the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of characters.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me.
So that's what I want to talk about. So
Okay.
let's say
let
me just open this one more time. Hold on, or just let me open your stream for a second.
Okay.
Yeah. So like let's say let's say we go headless, right? So you ended up for some reason with this tongue.
Let me do something real.
Okay.
Let me go into. Okay, so this. Putting the calculator so I can like merge it. Okay, so this hand. All right.
Yeah. So let's say first like we were headless, let's say. So and then at the end, like you did draw, okay, complete all the sequences, and you're on a single tile weight on the two, right?
So let me get myself oriented. All right, one more time. I think we're good.
Yeah. Okay. So so like let's say we had this type of consideration, and we went headless.
Right.
So there's a 56% chance this will happen. Basically, you ended up with a single tile weight at the end.
Yeah.
So this one is the single tile weight on the two, so right. But
Yeah,
if you look at the Discord for a second, you can see how many upgrades there are.
Yeah, there are 44 upgrades available.
Yeah, you got a.
Yeah, 3, 4, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9 of characters, 3, 4, 6, 7 of dots, and then 4, 5, 7, 8 of bamboo. Basically, just almost like everything that's connected to the sequences that you have.
Yeah. So like in this case, right? Like let's say you got to the single tile weight, that's not good, right? But like there are so many tiles you can upgrade to that like you shouldn't be afraid of doing this. Like you can still like draw any of those 44 tiles and get back into a good weight.
Right. I guess that makes sense of like if all of your blocks are done. Yeah, if all of your sequences are done and you're just waiting on the one, you shouldn't be too attached to the single pair that you or the single tile that you have for the pair. You probably transform it into something else. So this isn't good to Ricci.
Mm-hmm.
You should Riichi once you get something else connected. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So this is something that a lot of people didn't know that like you could like obviously like you don't want a single tile weight, but there's
Mhm.
actually a second level to that, and being able to
Yeah.
get a better weight than that.
I will say I
Okay,
am
now-
definitely being more aware of when I'm doing my Riichis, of not just doing it just to do it,
Mhm.
and trying to be a little smarter about it.
Yeah. So the last one there is the Kutsuki or the Steki Iishaten, and that could come up like so in so many different situations. Let me see if this is actually in this book. Actually, hold on one second.
Okay, we're going back to your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit too okay here, yeah. Yeah, that's not what I want either. Hold on. Yeah, so here, for example, like this is an example of a sticky Iishaten. You have everything else complete, and like the pairs here, all your sequences are done.
Okay, you have your
two-
sequences that, and then you're just
So here we have here like looking at it from this book. Let me just zoom out one step. Like drawing any of these 11 kinds of tiles are going to be tempai. So that's going to be a lot, like
yeah.
like 30 some tiles. So
Some are definitely way better than others.
yeah, doing the math is 39 tiles. Again, that's that's obviously a huge number. So yeah, you don't have to like calculate it all out. It's just whenever you get Kutsuki Shantan, that's just great. Like
Yeah,
you should expect
I'm kind of assuming that we don't just become slaves to the number of tiles that we can accept, but after a certain point, like at a point, we want to potentially like be on the weight that is less likely but way more valuable, or like way more or less likely to get into tempai but more likely to have a better weight.
Mhm.
Do you have like a general like rule of thumb that you go for doing one or the other?
Well, usually you do like want to go for the like these like this headless and the Kutsuki are actually like significantly better. It's like 39 tiles, right? It's not like it's like two times more than like 16 or 20. So like you would tend to go for these two if you can. Like sometimes you do end up with a bad tempai, but like you don't like the headless one is actually closer. The one we talked about, like where like that was actually a choice, right? Like we could either go a headless or we can go throw away the two pin into a 1, 2, 3.
That old example.
Yeah, but this sticky one, it's not actually there's not actually really a choice. You completed everything else, which is exactly what you want to do. And the only thing is, what do you want the loose tile to be, right? Like, so you don't want the loose tile to be like a 9 because it's kind of hard to make a good shape out of that. But like, if you have an 8 or like obviously something in the middle, like before we saw like 3 and 7, right? That was a really good coverage of
it just like covers everything essentially.
So I still like the only question is like what the loose tile is, but like there's no question it is a really good shape, and that's what you should aim for, even though it's rather rare.
All right,
so
cool.
That's about like just talk about the like there's so many like different like calculations and numbers here, like that's going to take a bit of and also like giving you percentages and stuff like that. That's going to for our viewers or for you to read. But this
Yeah,
is more
that's that nerd shit that I gotta
intermediate,
like read up on.
slash mhm. Probably like talking about just like even getting a piece of paper, just working it out and stuff like that. Just but these are like just like numbers that are good to know, but that you don't actually. It's not required for you to play.
No, but I imagine it's good to have like in the back of your mind, just so you can do mental, like have that available to you, so you're not putting your brain power towards essentially the easy solvable stuff, essentially.
Mhm.
And that's the thing that you see in, like, I assume you also do it in like chess or something, where you're studying the opening, so you don't have to, you don't have to do your brain power trying to figure out what to do. You kind of know what to do in those situations, so you can save it for later.
Yeah, so now learning about the Iishatens, because the Iishatens are usually the most tricky, because like everything in your hand makes some sense, and you're trying to again try to find a loose tile, right? And sometimes there are no loose tiles, so like being able to recognize the different patterns of the Iishaten will help getting you towards Tempai the most efficiently.
Yeah.
Or like also like at the same time like just and sometimes like you're also thinking about Yaku, right? Like just like there's a like a Sanshoku going on or some other Yaku going on, and you have to evaluate. Oh, if I try to go for the thing with the harder Yaku, like how much does that affect my winning chances?
Right.
Yeah, so these are more like experience slash advanced like in consideration. Sometimes you need to greed, but sometimes like you like if it's not like obviously like you want to get your hand as much value as possible, right? But not like breaking up your hand or making it like so narrow that you can't do it. Like that's what like when people go like Chantar or like all outside, then like it just like never happens, right? So because it's really hard to do, and sometimes like you do it and it's not worth enough.
Yeah,
So
it's like that was definitely something I was running into for all outsides. It's so, it feels like when I'm just starting out, it should be as easy, because it's like I considered it like the opposite of all simples. Like, oh, it's just like you do it on the other side. It shouldn't be that hard. But it was a nightmare to always get, and it wasn't even worth points, because you generally have to call it.
I mean, like the opposite of all simples shouldn't be that simple.
I know, right? True, actually, true.
Okay, so
real quick, Kodemus had a question, I think on the list last. What do we do if that single tile wait is a Dora that we're waiting on?
yeah, you tend to that does happen, right? Like if you tend to like look at like whether it's a 4-hand hand or not. If it gives you 4 hands, then you probably should try it.
Right.
Or, if it's just like 1 hand versus 2 hands or like something like small, then no. But there's also like if you drop the Dora, maybe you get a different Yaku. Like maybe you get Pinfu instead, or
right. Yeah, so I guess the answer to that is there is a lot of considerations, but it is viable to go for that narrower weight if it's on a Dora and it brings your hand up at a higher value.
Yeah, especially when you can get your hand to exactly 4 hands. That's because the 3 and 4 hands, the difference is the most significant, right? So
yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, from 4K to 8K.
Yeah, that's the like that's an actual when we talk about like exponential returns, that's where like in this game that's where it happens, right? Like,
yeah, that's that sweet spot.
4K, that is also like times 2, but like it's like 2,000 versus like a jump of 4,000. So
yeah,
that's where we okay, let me go get some water. I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Okay, cool, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. While he's away, I'll do my usual spiel. Thank you so much for everyone who's been coming by. If you like this content, please hit the follow button, as it helps build the channel. If you guys have any questions so far about anything that's been going on, please feel free to ask them in the chat, and we'll try our best to make time to get them answered. And if you haven't already, this is the second of 3 lessons that I have signed up for Wrath. The first one in its entirety is available on my YouTube channel at the link below. You can also check out all of Wrath's content. All of that is listed in the description of the first video. I'll post this VOD up onto YouTube as well. And I'll also get all that information up there as well. Hope you all have been enjoying the lesson so far. Hope you've learned a few things. How many of y'all out here are actually learning something, or if y'all just old hats at this and already know everything about it? Or you are totally a pro feverish, as we all are. Oh, you've only been playing for a month. Awesome. Well, welcome to the game. Also, when I post this video, I'll also post links to all the materials that we use here, so you guys have easy access to it. I don't do any editing for the VODs, so it should be up. I'll probably have it up by tomorrow. The only thing I need to do is make the thumbnail, but I'm not going to change the template that I have on the first one. I just need to change the text that I have on the white. Oh, also, for you new people in here, if you don't, I should make a thing about it, but I do have a bot command where you can type in !Mahjong and then type in what you want. My bot working? Okay, there it is. It just took a minute. You can type !Mahjong and then the term you want, and it'll give you the English translation of it. This is mostly for me, honestly, more than anything else. Yeah, but I don't know. It's a cool thing that Uzaku showed me. It was something that I've wanted for a while, and then it turns out he just had it. Also, just so I know. I don't know, now chat's going crazy because I told him about the Mahjong command. That's fine. Get you all chatting here. Boost up my numbers. Aha! It doesn't know what Mahjong is. Hilarious. Yeah, I'm at this weird spot with the Japanese turns because I have decided that I don't want to use them because I want to make my friendly to the new people who don't really know what's going on. But that does mean I'm learning them a lot slower because I'm not using them. That's the main reason why I put in the chat bot, so I didn't have to keep asking chat, what did that mean? So I didn't, at least very initially, come off as a complete. I mean, I am a complete noob. There's no such thing as flow. Oh, I was cutting out? Yeah, I just didn't have my mic close enough to me. Okay. So we did have one question. I did ask the chat.
Yeah, I see it here too, right?
Yeah.
Is it the Bicycle Freak?
Yeah, it's I'll just read it off for the sake of it. Is cutting a penchan when you don't have 5 blocks to keep the strong floating tiles early on a big no-no?
Usually it's not. It is definitely a move that people do, especially early, right? I mean, it depends on how much. Usually when we talk about like a pancha, right? Like that assumes like we're looking at like these edge tiles that prevent, like for example, if it's like preventing you from doing tanyao, or preventing you from doing pinfu, or other yakus that require like middle tiles or some like thing, like so like in terms of like value and yaku and stuff, like we sometimes we do cut the panchan, like panchan being like
Yeah.
a 1-2 or 8-9 of some suit.
Yeah,
However,
I find myself that I do that. I'll be more willing to cut them in. I guess the actual term is these. Say I have like a 1 and 2, and then I have like a 5 on like a single, and that's like the only thing I have on like characters. Within the first like row of discards, I won't get rid of that 5 just because it just has so much acceptance as the game goes on.
Yeah, this is more a question about like preemptively, like when we look at like in the first, like when we talk about like just like hand strategy, right? Like we talked about that like at the near the end of the lesson last time. I mean, we talked about like having a strategy, like you don't want to keep the 1-2 and then at the end decide, oh, I don't want that. And then,
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That's fair.
yeah, so like it's about like for example, like I'll give you some examples here. For example, like let's say your hand has enough value. Let's say it has I would say like let's say it has two Doras, right? And winning this free hand does give you a position, like it jumps over someone else. Then it's more likely you just want to get the quick win. Like,
Yeah, try to go fast with
like,
it.
Yeah, so you don't really have time to, like maybe you don't have time to break the panchan. Like maybe like your hand is so, like it also depends on like the rest of the hand, right? Like if it's has a very wide acceptance, then it's played one way. If it's like narrow, it's played another way. It's very contextual, but like in general, like let's say you want to try to win the hand fast, and your hand has enough value that you don't need to go force like a Tanyao or something, then you would try to keep it. But like if your hand has like no value, like let's say you keep the 1-2 and it prevents you from other Yakus like significantly, and it's a one hand, then you should more often break the panchan.
Yeah, I actually do. I actually like I tend to break up panchans a lot. Also because like being waiting on a panchan generally means that you won't be able to call anything, and sometimes you just need to take the option of like, well, I don't have a value hand, but I need to get a like. Sometimes getting a quick win in is better than getting no win in.
Yeah, so it's about like how early, and like there's a lot of borderline situations, and like it was very contextual. So like there's no like easy answer for that, but yeah, it's about like your play style and experience, which is like all of that is just depends on your style of play.
Yeah, a lot of your for the new people that are here, a lot of your play style, as I've discovered, is you're gonna evolve your play style based off of what you got hit by, and trying to adjust to make sure you don't get hit by it as much.
Yeah, it's about like it's also about like your game, like your psychology and things, right? Like let's say you're trying to learn like a fighting game or like your action game or whatever game you're trying to learn, right? There's always like people that like let's say you could you tell them how to do like how these move, like how to make some moves or whatnot, but like some people like they default to like having a defensive play style, and some people default to offensive. It's just like different people like understand the game differently. And
yeah, the Mahjong example I can think of is my enjoyment of East games versus basically everyone else out there who prefer South games. Where South games, I know a lot of players like because they have the time to form their winning hands and be able to like over time, basically over time show that they are like kind of the better player and they don't get random out, as it were. We're on the opposite side of that, where I was playing a bunch on the East games. is, okay, I don't have all the time in the world to just wait for my perfect hand and just kind of coast and just play, kind of like in poker where you kind of just fold every hand until you get a good one. You don't have that luxury in East. So you have to make more plays about it. You have to be a little more aggressive about it. You don't get as, you usually don't get as many big hands, but that means that like even the 8, like just the Mongons, the AKs can be devastating in that one. I don't know, it's preference.
In the poker example, like it's about the amount of the big blind, right? Like sometimes like the big blind goes up by a lot and like very quickly, and some tournaments are like breakneck speed like that, right? Like you don't want to. And some of the other tournaments are much slower. You can be there. You can sit back and fold more hands, but like it's about like how much like tempo and which style excites you more.
Yeah, the like what tempo you like is definitely a very good like description of it.
Yeah, and just different people like understand different games differently. Just like it's about like first of all, like obviously still like having good fundamentals, understanding the rules, some intricacies and details, but like at the end, forming your own play style and your how much risk you're willing to take,
right?
Risk reward, push pull type of thing. So
yeah. Hope we were able to answer your Psycho Freak.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about like another big topic, right? Ricci, right? So first of all, like for you, what do you think? Like, do you call Ricci often, or what do you think? What do you think about like calling or not Ricci?
I'm definitely calling Ricci often, but I'm definitely all right. So the how do I describe this? I'm calling Ricci. Like I call Ricci fairly often, but between the first lesson and now, I'm definitely a lot more educated about pressing the button. Where before I would just press it every time. Now I always tend to stop and wait and be like, okay, do I want to be on this weight? Can I hold out a little bit? Can we Dama this a little bit and just be okay? Though I haven't played in like a week. When I played a game earlier today, I didn't follow my teachings and I got punished for it. Basically, I Ricci'd a hand because there wouldn't be a Yaku otherwise, but we were in like the third discard row and I was someone else had already Ricci'd. So there was it was a single tile weight and it was gonna be, not controlling my discards to deal into someone else. I pressed the button because I panicked of, oh god, I don't have a Yaku for this hand. But even then, that probably wasn't even the right choice, just because I put myself in a really bad situation for a hand that required a Ricci to. I put myself in a very bad situation for a one-han hand, essentially.
I see. Yeah. Like near the end, there are like now we know that they're like the empire payments are also quite important, and if you reach it, then you have to put 1,000 points in there. That's a different like consideration. Like usually when we reach you, we don't really think about the 1,000 points, but
the 1,000 points like probably is way more relevant in the games than I give it credit for.
Especially in East games where like just tiny like the very little like a point differential.
Yeah, you're on thin margins.
Yeah, which is the interesting thing about East games. It's just being actually it's supposed to be harder because like you're in high leverage situations a lot, like high pressure situations a lot, and like it requires some like a mastery of like just at like near the end, like trying to like how do you position yourself above others. At the end, like there's definitely like more times or not that things can get very complicated. Like every esport game seems like everyone's so close and like someone's trying to win this last hand, and can I do that without like losing, for example?
Yeah,
like, just
they're on the thin. They're trying to do that tightrope of like, how do I actually win this hand without how do I try to, in my second place, secure first without, dealing with someone else and dropping all the way to fourth?
Okay, let me open this book up while we talk about Richi's. Hold on, let me find that. So, do you see a new book here? It's called
Yeah, Statistical Mahjong
Strategy. Yeah, so yeah, this is also an interesting book. I think it was translated maybe at most like maybe a year ago at most. So it's
Right.
also pretty new. I think like as more people are into Riichi Mahjong, the more books get translated, and it's very interesting.
Right. Can you
So first
link? Is this one that we watched or that we looked at week or last time?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
I don't think we got to this one because
Okay.
this one's all numbers, and we didn't get to this one.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I have all the reading material.
Yeah, let me
I have links to them because I put descriptions of them in the. I link them in the description of the YouTube.
Okay,
Make sure I have them.
Let me find that.
What's the name of it? It was
Statistical Mahjong. Oh, I think it's this. Give me a second. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Okay. So I'll share it in the Discord here. This one. Yes, this one.
Okay, cool.
Catbox dot. Okay.
All right, cool. We can go on. Just want to make sure.
Okay. Yeah. So when we talk about Riichi, right? So let's say we look at remember like Riichi book 1, right? Like that has a chapter on Riichi.
Yeah.
But mostly in that book, it tells you like basically, essentially what I understand from that book is that as a beginner you should always Riichi, or like
it's yeah, basically TLDR is it's called Riichi Mahjong, not Dama Mahjong. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just in that book, it has two options: either you Riichi or you Insta Riichi. So I mean, like as if you don't Insta enough. So I mean, like you gotta Riichi it faster. I guess press it faster. That would call it Insta. But like now we're getting into thinking about it, right? Like why does it say that, right? Like we talk about like we're asking a question of why, and as like other like any or like most other games too, right? Like just like if you're a beginner level, like someone to tell you, oh, you should do this, you don't really like need to know why.
You just get backseated and you just kind of like take their word for it.
Yeah, you just kind of like just try it out first, and then you'll figure it out, or like just like follow some rules and try to go on with that. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you read something else, right? So, but now we kind of talk about why. So here this book here, chapter number 1 is called a Head Start Riichi. We're going to talk about the power of reaching first.
Yeah,
that's what Head Start Riichi means. Reaching before anyone else does, and reaching first. So
okay, I'm actually I'm interested in this.
Okay, and the second chapter we also talk about is a push fold analysis. These are all this is a really hard numbers book. So
yeah, because in
talk about numbers.
Yeah, because like in general, right now, my playstyle is if I'm getting Riichi within the first row, I don't care what my weight is, I'm slamming it. Especially if it's like before turn 4 or something.
Okay, so this is about that. So first of all, we're going to talk about this book at the very beginning. We're going to talk about okay, let me.
Oh my god!
Let me zoom in a tiny bit here.
Oh my god, they're already hitting us with the math formulas.
Yeah, this one is not that hard. Okay, so we talk about expected value. Right? Let's say
right.
Let's say in this case, right? Like you have a dice, right? So let's say you have a game where you win when you roll 1, 2, 3, 4, and you lose when you get 5, 6.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna play this game like all day, right?
Because, yeah. On average, you make money.
Yeah, on average you make money, and it's about expected value is about in the long run, like what is your expected event result in the long run, right? So in this
Yeah.
case, like if you win 6,000 yen for doing rolling 1 2 3 4 and you lose 6,000 for rolling 5 6, then the expected value per roll is plus 2,000, right?
Yeah. We would
So
use the
it's about-
term. We would use back when I was doing tournament grinding. We would basically use the term EV for whether we wanted to go to a tournament or not, because a lot of it based on okay, how far away is it? What's the entry? How far down does prize like payout go for? We would use those.
Mhm. Yeah, so we use this a lot in statistics and probability, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's about getting all the possible outcomes, and then at the end multiply and subtract and get a final number out of it.
Mhm.
Now, in terms of statistics, right? We know this is a long-term law of large numbers, right? Like this is let's say you play this game, you could like in the short term lose because like you could roll 5 and 6 a lot, right? Like,
Yeah.
it is possible. Also, like let's say like when you talk about like let's say a casino, right? Like in the long term, that's your EV in the casino, unless you are like a math genius and have worked out every
you're gonna lose in the casino. House always wins.
Right. So in that case, like the EV is negative, right? But like in the short run, right? Like let's say you go for one night and you could like win a hell lot, right? That is part of why people get hooked on it, right? If everyone loses and no one goes to the casino anymore, but like some people actually like you see people win and like they try to like entice you, and like obviously they think like they have like different like strategies on like making you think that lots of people win here. I mean it's just stress psychology, right? But like at the end, it's about like EV being negative, and something we have to remember, and it's about like long term, like over like many games, right?
Yeah.
So overall, though, like we do want to do things that are have EV positive, and try to avoid to do things that are EV negative.
Yeah, that was also a thing that I was commenting on in chat before. Is learning games like this is always can be really hard because you can't be results oriented essentially because of like the randomness of outcomes. You have, and that's kind of like a hard thing of trying to figure out on your own. Is okay, did I do the statistically correct play and just didn't get rewarded for it, or did I actually like not do it? And it's hard to figure that out just based on did you win the game or not.
Yeah, so like these are all like calculated out, like let's say the things in this book, right, are all like simulated. Like they run the simulations on the 10-hole like, because like all the 10-hole games are downloadable, and
that's cool.
can be ran on like computer, right? That's what computer statistics are good for, right? Just crunching out the numbers and giving you some results, graphing and all that stuff. So so first of all, we're going to start with a pretty simple example. This one here, okay. So why declaring Vichy is correct with painful Nomi? Okay, that's the title of this. Okay, so like I guess you do like for this hand here, it is a painful Nomi. There's no Tanyao, there's no. It's just it's all sequences, and if you leave it as like if you don't reach it's one hand, it's just painful, right? Like then like the two different options are either you reach or you don't reach, right? So that's called Dama, like Dama 10 or Dama. So like crunching these numbers out, right? So okay, let's start with a few assumptions. Okay, so it's East 1 and you're the South Sea, so you're not dealer. Okay. It's currently turn 5. No other players have called or declared Ricci. So it's still in roll 1. It's turn 5, right? So it's in the ideal, like you would want to see that in your game, right? Like turn 5 and you have a hand that looks like this. You're ready to Ricci, but like now the question is like, am I supposed to Ricci or am I not? Do I just Dama this, right? So to answer question to stay Dama 10 or declare which one should you choose? Like many readers may already know the correct choice, but we're gonna go right into the numbers here. Like because like having the numbers that you can confidently say like which choice is correct, right? Otherwise you're kind of like like because the book tell me to, or because like other people tell me to. But
Right.
here we got some numbers here. So here, so let's say on turn 5 when you declare Ricci. Now again, this is about the whole tables on 10 hole, which are like we talk about the best players in the world. Okay?
Right.
So we're not talking about like bronze, silver players. We're talking about like
Yeah, I know
actual-
all the tryhards and professional players play on 10 hole.
Yeah. So yeah. So here, like when declaring Ricci, or like in this situation, like waiting for a 5-8, for example,
Mhm.
Your win rate would be 68%.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's in my opinion that's a pretty high number.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The average point gain is 3,700. We're gonna talk about that in a second, but okay. So first of all, like this is the expected result by far. Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is 7% deal-in rate. Now we talk like the best players, right? So you're assuming like if someone reaches on turn 5, then other people are start folding.
Yeah.
Or if obviously if they have like a significantly big hand and they're also ready, they will chase. But more often than not, they're gonna start folding. In which case, like this deal-in rate is gonna be very low. The opponent's symbol rate, it's kind of like okay, 8%. It's kind of the same.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
Lateral movement, which means one opponent deal into another opponent. That's 4%. Like also insignificant.
Okay. Right.
And the last one is the draw rate, which is 13%. That's a Reikaku or the draw.
Oh, okay.
So these numbers all indicate like this is a really good table. Like if this is a silver room, like your win rate should be like I don't know, like 80%.
Yeah, give or take.
Your win rate would be like the rest of it, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so like you're not gonna get a draw out of that. Like you reach.
No,
like,
you're not gonna get a draw. Maybe someone steals something from someone else.
Yeah, like you're gonna get like something like 80% over here, and then you have 20% like.
Yeah. Basically, if I Ricci early and like within the first row, and it's gone through like a full 6 tiles since the Ricci, I just assume no one's gonna deal with me because that's enough time and information for people to just completely dodge at that point. If they're being if they're not being silver and trying to push their own one hand.
There's also like the case where like if we talk about like the really good players though, right? Like sometimes they would try to like sneak in a K10 at the end. Like they want to try to not lose those like no 10 penalty points.
Oh, I try. Oh, I try to do that all the time, actually.
Yeah, sometimes like that's a little. Sometimes that's also very tricky too.
Yeah.
Right, though. Like if you don't want to overdo it, like that's really gambling.
No, it's like it's when I'm in the last row, and it's when it's basically when in like the last like 3 or 4 rotations. That's when I consider okay, well, let me just start calling stuff just so I have like so I'm in Tenpai. It doesn't need to have any Yaku whatsoever. I just need to make sure I'm not paying this out.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that in chapter 2. Okay, so we're just talking about Rishi here. So let's say okay, so we talked about what's the expected result when declaring Rishi. Now if you don't declare you stay Dama, so you actually have an 85% win rate. I mean,
yeah, so it's like 15% more, but you're 15% more win rate, but you're getting like a third of the points, if that.
Yeah, so this is actually interesting in that like one hand, right? Like this is 1100 because like if you Simo it's 1100, if you Ron it's 1000. Okay, there's a tiny bit of a difference, but like at the end, like how much you're getting. Like you're not getting any more, you're not getting any less. Okay, so we're assuming there's no Dora. Okay, so yeah, that's what you get. Okay. Now this is more interesting in that the expected point gain is 3,700, you recognize that it is more than double of this.
Yeah, I assume that's because of the chance of underdoras, and potentially having the what was it? Tanyo was the one. It does it in
Ipatsu, yeah.
Ipatsu. Yeah, that's the one. It's in one within. You get it within one rotation.
Right. So like these are things that you need to add in, like when you call Ricci. That's why we call Ricci most of the time, because like
I think Ricci Book
sometimes you
1
get
was like
more
saying the same things because you have the potential to get so many more points.
Right. And usually we consider a Ricci to be 1.4 Hans, or like for very simplistic, just like let's say you have a Dama number like this, you multiply this by 2, and then you multiply that again by 50% or so to get this number. So like it's like a 2. Like here, like you just have like a little more than 3 times in this case, but like it's somewhat near 3 times. So like the return's about 3 times of the Dama.
Yeah.
So like okay, the other like the deal rate, obviously you win so often that you're not going to do like the other stuff is going to be really unlikely, and basically you're not going to get a draw. Like you can get a result of some sort, but like the win rate actually goes up. I would say quite significantly, but like obviously the return just sucks. Okay, so like in terms of like expected value, right? Like let's say you ignore everything else, you just multiply like 68 into 37. That's obviously bigger than 85 into 11. I mean, it's, by a lot. I mean, it's not even close. So I mean, that's why like in terms of long-term considerations, reaching this would be considered quote unquote correct, or like
best form majority of the time.
Yep. So here we have a little chart here that tells you what your expected value is. Okay, so we talk about a head start Ricci. Like here we break it down to turn 5, turn 8, and turn 12. So turn 5 is obviously a almost ideal. Like you got to reach it really fast. Turn 8 is somewhere in the middle of second row.
Yeah, it's actually that's basically the second or third tile that you discard.
And turn 12 is at the end of second row, or even starting the third row. So here we can see that we were talking about the Ricci pin through, right? So like we talk about the second one, right? So like Dama would be 1,000 points. Ricci would make it 2,000. So here on turn 5, the EV would be positive 1,900. On turn 8, it will be positive 1,100.
Right.
Turn 12, it's positive 300.
Yeah. Remember, so the trend that I'm seeing on this is that the EV of Ricci goes down the longer the game goes.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's like the earlier you reach, the more likely you will win the hand, because you reach it early before anyone else, and have more draws, and people have to throw more tiles, and your chances of winning is significantly higher. There's a little diagram. There's a little diagram after this, but let's complete this table first. So you see this. You see how like Dama, like obviously that's going to be significantly lower. Here, like, there's a difference of about around like 2,000-ish.
Yeah, that's like, well, that's 13 difference. Yeah, but then later on, it gets down to the thousands.
Yeah, so do remember that like as long as it's positive, it's a like overall like long-term positive event, right? So anytime you get to Tenpai, like that is a net positive event, okay? Because then you have chances of winning. Like if you don't get the Tenpai, you have no chance of winning. So that cannot be a positive event. So anytime you get the Tenpai, you have a chance of winning, and therefore it's usually a positive EV event. Even if it's like a Richi Nomi, like you see how like it is still a positive EV event because even if it's like a 0, it's not like a bad thing to do. It's just your returns are not expected to be very high, but just
Right.
like even a low number doesn't mean it's bad. It's still a positive number. Now, the other thing is when we talk about like the point, like how we like go beyond 4 hands, right? Like we go from 4 to 5. You know that it plateaus, hard plateaus.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah,
so
four,
here,
four Han for that Mongon is that magic number.
yeah, so like you can actually see that right here. In that once you get to like a certain point, like the EV does not go up very high much anymore. Let's say you have a that's why we talk about like when we have a 4 Han hand, we might want to dama that
Yeah.
because let's say like that's this situation here, or maybe this situation, like where like well actually dama like 4 hands, right?
Yeah.
So like this one, right? So you see that the EV for Ricci is 7,000. The EV for Dama is 65.
Yeah.
Interestingly though, like it is still higher, but like you do want to.
Yeah, but like the percentage higher isn't much higher. I think we went over this last time.
Oh, I see. Okay, then maybe maybe I didn't. I forgot. Okay, so yeah,
we didn't go over these charts, but like the concept of the four Han is definitely that sweet spot because after everything after that, you're not getting as many gains as you were previously from getting up to 4 Han. So it's not as like you shouldn't be going all balls to the wall. I need to get as many Han as I can. I mean, you kind of should be, but like once you're in that 4 Han, you don't need to go so hard on the payout for it.
Yeah. So you do recognize though that it is still like a higher number, right? Because like when you reach, you can get like bonuses, but like your win rate goes down too,
Yeah.
right? So like there's some balancing going on. Usually you would like even though the EV it's a little lower, but like you tend to still want to dama it because you get your win rate as high as possible, and you don't have to like max greed like everything because your return is already so high. But like that's interestingly this number is still higher. So that's what these numbers mean here. On turn 12, like when it gets to like these bad hands, like that's where you kind of want to think about it. Okay. Like we talk about a ramen weight, right? This is a good weight. You usually do reach that, but next we're gonna talk about the bad weights, and we're gonna get a different numbers for that.
Yeah.
That's the one that's more like usually more interesting. Like this one, you don't think too much about it. You a good weight, the two-sided weight.
Two-sided weight is probably was like the best you can hope for usually.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about the bad weights in a second. So here, like there's some like numbers that changes when it goes from like turn 8 to turn 12. So just go over this a tiny bit. Like let's say we just want to talk about like turn 5 where we talked about 68 and 7. Here, like on turn 12 though, it's 42 and 15, which is still like kind of okay, I guess. I mean, it is still like 3 times of this. Like it's still a significant gap between win rate and deal-in rate. However, for smaller hands, like you do have to think about it. Okay, so that's where these numbers like after 2012, this does drop off even more, and this deal-in rate goes up even more because like people are not going to fold to your late Ricci.
Yeah, people aren't going to fold a late Ricci, and you have no control, and you're probably going to be discarding the tiles that they want.
Yeah, so that's where like things get more interesting, right? Like turn 5, what do you have to think about? Turn 8, you do it. So turn 12, after turn 12, maybe.
Yeah, that's when it's very contextual.
So like here, let this like this heading here, okay. wipe away your fear of head start bad shape Riichi. Okay, that's like these headings are like as clear as day. Like they're usually very clear. Like this book is
very
actually
literal.
does have a very heavy bias, and I'm gonna have to point out some of the biases here.
Oh, okay.
We know which way this book wants to go. Okay, just like, but reading this, like, you know what this chapter is about, right?
Right.
Wipe away your fear of head start bad shape. So here. So so we talk about that again, turn 5, and it's a bad weight this time, right? So on turn 5, your win rate's at 53%.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say that's not bad. I mean, I don't know what you think about this number. I mean,
53%, like decent. Considering that's like players.
yeah,
you actually showed me the numbers now. I'm not so sure. Because before I was just slamming it each time. Now I'm just like, oh, is it only 53? It's still good, but is it that good?
Well, remember, this is a bit against, like, again, this is the best tables in the world. So I mean, like, if you talk about gold room, this is gonna go up by some like 10% or so or something. I don't know exactly what. But do have to balance that out with a deal rate of 11%. Okay, so like there's a good gap here. So like it's like also like when you dama, like your hand probably doesn't have that much value. So like I mean like or maybe it does. Like I don't know, but like most of the time, like you're thinking about Riichi, then probably want to get more points out of it. And the EV wise, it's a good play. Like these numbers changes as the
yeah,
turn.
it sinks a lot.
Yeah, so turn 12 a bad weight, then this becomes actually I would call that pretty bad.
Yeah, 31% like win rate, especially with your 17% deal in rate with it. Yeah, I mean, I had a game that was just like that, and I got hit with the 17%, and it felt awful.
It also usually feels pretty damn awful about that too. So yeah, so these are the numbers kind of thing. I mean, usually turn 5 you would do it. I mean, turn 8 is where like okay, maybe like 43 and 14. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. Like turn 12 is where like, oh, okay, this kind of looks fishy.
Yeah,
I mean,
looks
like,
less good for sure.
Okay, so okay, that's not the one I want to look at. Let's see. There's some diagrams that I'm missing here. Hold on 1 second. I think I'll stumble on it after a while. I'll just go in order here. Okay, so just talk about something a tiny bit different. So sometimes like let's say you have a choice between bad weight Riichi, like let's say at some point, right? Like, I don't know what turn it is, and you're thinking about breaking the shape and not taking tempai, going backwards,
right?
And trying to like either get a better weight or get more value. Usually both. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when that happens? Okay, so here we're looking at figure 1.3 here. So we're looking at this gray line here. That's a non-Suji bad shape 3-7. So we're talking about like a pancha, right? So like let's say you have a 1-2 waiting for 3.
Right.
That's pretty much the worst you can do. Like I mean, like if you're waiting for a 2, that's like a little better, right? Like 3 because it's somewhere in the middle. It's not 4 or 5, but it's pretty bad as well. Like I mean, like
yeah, three people are still going to be like holding on to because it's like considered one of the bullish tiles, and 2 might get under people's radar because it's harder to use.
Right. So that's almost like like one of the probably like worst case type of things. So like here, like in this figure here, like it drew a line on turn 5 and turn 8.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you recheat it, okay, waiting for like let's say a 3. Your win rate's at 50%, okay. Now, let's say you go backwards, your win rate is gonna be most likely this brown line. It's the Kutsuki Iishaten. Usually you're not gonna get a connect 4. That's crazy. Okay, so usually it's gonna be stick like.
What is a connect 4?
Connect 4 means like you have a like you have a 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, okay, one of those. All right.
It's a Kutsuki with it's the ideal Kutsuki. Like it's the ideal case. Like you're almost never gonna see that. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, so the normal one is probably this brown one, but the more normal one is actually not a Kutsuki either. It's just like you're just breaking up a shape. Like you maybe like that's a pretty. It wouldn't be like such a great Iishaten. Like you imagine like an invisible line that's quite a bit below this brown line is what normally you would expect.
Right.
Okay. Even this brown line here is a pretty ideal situation. Okay? So that doesn't happen very often.
Right,
so,
that's like best case scenario for it.
Yeah, then the pink line is ideal, which almost never happens. So so here, like we notice that when we go back a Shanten, like we go back to Kutsuki, the win rate actually becomes a 38.
Yeah,
Okay.
it drops by like 5% each time, sometimes more.
Well, here, like it went from gray line to brown line.
Oh, you're going from gray to brown. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a lot more.
So
yeah, it's like over 10.
12%. But realistically, you're thinking about invisible line. That's like somewhere like
15 to 20, give or take.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so that's something you have to figure out. Like,
right.
Let's say, are you happy enough with the 50% win rate, or are you going to go backwards and try to take the brown line or even lower? Now,
I think a lot of that has to determine by the position you're in the game.
Right. So usually the rule of thumb here is that if your change like allows you to get basically lock in 2 more hands, you would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like 2 more hands, like no plateau, that's 4 times return, right?
Yeah.
So like let's say you go from like 50% to 30%, but you got 4 times return, that's good enough.
Right. Okay. It's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, 2 times return is like kind of iffy. Like it could, like if it's exactly from like usually like if you have a free hand, you're probably just doing the gray line, okay? Like
yeah,
free hands at 50%, I mean that's pretty good EV. And if you like mess with your hand and go backwards and your win rate goes down, then you run the risk of just not winning, like even like dealing in, right? So those are like different considerations that happens when you have a bad shape Tenpai. This happens all the time. I mean, like it's just like you get a bad shape and he's like, should I reach that or not? I mean, that happens all the time, and this is a very helpful. Like also like you recognize also that the later it gets, the more gap there is.
Yeah.
Like because
just like the worse everything gets for it.
Right, because if it's early, you still have time for it. Like, but if it gets late, then your chances of winning, like, if you change, like, go back to Iishaten late, then you're just not gonna win. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty straightforward thing. But like, if it's early, you can do it, but it better be worth it. Like, you don't do it just because you want to improve your weight. Like, you have to do it because you improve your weight and have more value, and that value needs to be pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, in general, like I think my general rule is if I'm within the first row, I'll like consider trying to go back a step to try to get a little bit more value of it. But if it's like basically past mid game where it's the 10 or would it be the 6, 12, like the 9th tile discarded, so we're about like halfway, that's when I'm like, okay, my hand's my hand, I kind of have to lock into it for the most part. unless super desperate times.
Yeah. So here, like in terms of just looking at this, right? Like turn 5, it's like like the gap gets bigger and bigger. Okay, so
Yeah.
like turn 8 is, I guess, in this book where like it draws a line here.
Mhm.
Like anything after that, like your win rate goes below 20%. That's absolutely horrible. Your deal-in rate's higher than that.
Yeah, it is
So
awful.
you don't want to do that. And the other thing is, let's take a quick look at something here. Yeah, also remember that like it doesn't, like when you do it, it has to give significant value, right?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
just getting a little bit more. It's you need quite a bit more. Like
Okay, so yeah, I should keep that in mind. If it's like not, if I'm not getting like at least, I mean, general rule, if I'm not like doubling my Han or something, or getting, if this isn't like pushing me up to the 4 Han goal that we're going for, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So just
Okay,
recognizing
cool.
this
Yeah,
blue line.
I think I got this down.
Okay, cool. Okay, so here we talked about, like in this book, it also tells you like different situations. Like if you break the bat shape Tenpai, if Tanyao is possible, like because like you do Tanyao because you're able to call.
Yeah.
In which case, like it does help in this win rate a little bit. Like this is, I think this is talking about Ricci, right? So
Yeah.
it's talking about like you don't call Ricci, but then like at the same time you're not calling anything either. So that's why this, if you start calling, then like the win rate, like this is not what this figure is about. It's about, this is all about like keeping your hand closed.
Yeah.
If you're yeah, insta Ricci when not expecting increase in hand value, just do it.
Right.
That's
there's no real good way to like do it unless you have to go through hoops.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some like considerations when breaking Tenpai to increase hand value. So there's some like rules here. Overall, in my opinion, it should be like you have to, your hand has to be wide enough and it has to give significant value. So that's a lot of words for saying that. So
Right.
okay, so there's also like some like interesting things that you can read after, but it's gonna be a lot of different things. Okay, so also talks about like waiting on like honors. Like that's actually like in really good tables, like waiting on honors is
Okay.
is also significantly, like also really good. It's also like kind of near like a two-sided weight, even sometimes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's like a two-sided weight, but the I don't know. Waiting on honors is something I kind of wish I did a little more on, just because it seems like it's going to be, there are not that many of them out there, but the odds of people utilizing them is so low that they're probably getting discarded unless they have a hard read. And
yeah.
unless they know, I'm not talking about using like waiting on the honor and that's my Yaku, but say it's like, oh, I just need a pair. I'll just have like a single like win tile out and just wait for that.
Yeah, that like if since you have a pair of them, then other people most likely don't have a pair of them. That's why, like, if you have a loose one, the people are just gonna throw it. Now this figure here, we just gonna it kind of like in a really good table, like let's say Jade Room, plus like this honor weight, Ricci weight is actually quite nice. But like the one more we want to kind of look at is the Ranman Ricci. Like we talked about the gray line. Turn 5 is 68%, and you see how this gray line goes like kind of like a straight line, but like even like if we get to like turn 10, it's at 50%.
Yeah, it's like not that much different.
Yeah, so that's how like this figure is about like chart, like giving you a chart on like these numbers. Okay, so lots of the numbers look at. Yeah, so this one is about yeah, just like you see how this is about the bad weight, right? You see how these two, like this is like a good two-sided weight. That's about a bad weight. Like these are like exactly the shape looks exactly the same. Okay.
Right.
It's just that there's about a 20% gap between them. That's all there is. So
All
if,
right,
if you're waiting on a good weight, then on a Ricci, then you have about 20% advantage over a bad weight.
Right.
But the shapes are
What is that?
most
What does that
exactly
shape say? Shape 2-8. What's that in the key for the pink line?
Yeah, non-Shuji bad shape 2-8. So waiting for a 2 or 8.
Oh, okay.
3 and 7 is a tiny bit lower, but they didn't draw it. They're just
Oh, okay. Oh, it's saying 2
waiting.
or 8. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is giving you a somewhere in between type of thing. So
Right.
yeah, so it's about somewhere close to 20% difference.
Okay.
Or was it? More like 15%.
Yeah, it was like 15.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go. I don't think there's any more about this. Like we talk about the push pull after this. Okay. There's also like so many different numbers.
Yeah, there's so many different like charts out there.
Yeah, it's just
Like comparing one hand to another.
Look at
so
it
many.
For our viewers. But if interested, there's way too many figures to look at for people that like numbers. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about push fold here. Okay, so I think this is gonna be let me look at time here. We're gonna talk about this, and then we're gonna look at one of your logs and just trying to reinforce like strategy. Like obviously, like looking at the starting hands and talking about like strategy again.
Right.
Just reinforcing a little bit, and then we call it a day. But like this is also very important, right? So push fold is one of the harder concepts in this game. Like, and also like obviously play style and like psychology related, like how much risk you would take. Like there's also like no hard science to it. So
no, there's not. I mean, that's kind of what makes the game cool, is that everyone has different things to it. Yeah, let me post the link in the chat real fast. I got it. The link to that what we're watching, and if you're watching this on the YouTube video, it is in the description down below.
Okay. So we'll talk about push fold here. So well, first of all, it's about folding. Okay, this is more about folding.
Yeah, it's like honestly, it's in Ricci Mahjong, you generally want to just fold.
Right. So right now, it's trying to tell you that. Okay, first of all, we have this figure here, figure 2.1. Okay, this is quite important. So, first of all, we talk about data for beta ori against one Ricci. Okay, so someone Ricci'd on some turn here. Right?
Remind me what beta ori is again.
It is full fold. Like
okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so let's say someone Ricci, right? So like you're looking at this Ricci, you're trying to decide what you're gonna do about it. Are you gonna try to fold, or are you trying to push, like
push past
like
it.
that's like option number 3, right? Now option number 2 is Mawashi or somewhere in between, right? So, we talked about that in the first session. Like there's 3 different options when someone reaches, and this one we talk about the fold. So now here we focus on turn 9 here. So this is somewhere in the second row. This is kind of where you in general where you expect people to Ricci, like the first Ricci to happen.
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
On average. Okay, so this gray line is opponent Simo. Okay, so opponent, like this Ricci player would Simo about 40% of the time. Okay.
Right.
And then the second most likely event is the draw, which will happen about 30% of the time. And then the pink line, which is the most like the best situation you can hope for, is lateral movement. In which case, someone else dealt into the Ricci player.
Oh, okay.
And you don't lose any points. The other 2 results you lose points. Okay, so like obviously like opponent Simo, you lose points. If it's a draw and you don't get the tempai, you lose points.
Yeah.
The only situation where you don't lose points is the pink line. There's also a line that's not drawn here because these numbers do not add up to 100%. the last line that's not drawn is if you deal in. Like
Okay, yeah, but
you
I
can
mean,
fold all you want, you can still deal in.
yeah, it can happen.
Okay, so the first thing is that well, first of all, I think this like first time I read this gray line, I found that a little bit surprising. It's actually quite a bit higher than I thought.
Oh, just the odds of someone top decking.
Yeah, just someone reaches and simmos 40% of the time. So I thought that was pretty high, and just you see how like your expected event like result is a bad end. Like the pink line is the least likely result out of the three results,
Right.
and which probably means like that's not good. I don't know what else, how else to say it.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Yeah. Yeah, you're in a bad way if someone else is in the is in Ricci and you're not anywhere close to getting done.
Right. Now, so like recognizing this, there's a cost of folding. Okay, so that's because there's actually no way for you to get points once you start folding. Like there's one result that's neutral, and then there's three bad results
Yeah.
after that. So like your expected value will be negative. Like it's either 0 or negative. So like and like actually the negative is the most likely. So it's negative.
Yeah.
And the cost of beta already gives you a number. So the number is let's say you start folding on turn, like if someone reaches on turn 9 and you fold, the expected EV is negative 1100.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And this number changes when you're the dealer, because like if you're the dealer,
Yeah,
then,
you have to pay the bigger number.
Right. If you summon symbols, then you have to pay half. Also, if that guy that person reaches and the reachy player is the dealer, that obviously is also negative as well, because like the reachy wins bigger, right? So like you have to pay more for the symbol.
Yeah.
Either way, both of those situations, it calculates it out to negative 1700. Okay.
Right.
So basically, what these numbers mean is that let's say you're in East game, right? And you just have no flow, and you just fold. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happened? Like if these numbers add up, right? Like let's say one game it's negative 1100. Okay, fine. But like if it's like 4, 5, or 6, then it adds up to like negative 5000, negative 6000, and which is why like if you don't win any hands, then your expected result will be 4th. I mean, like
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I've definitely had a few games where maybe I'll deal in once and it's like a small hand, so it's like, you know, I'm back in my mind, it's like not a big deal, but then I just don't get anything else going. I just get nickeled and dimed back down to 4th place.
Yeah, like I mean, like just not winning and like being forced into this type of situation, that's like there's the cost right here, right? Like
Yeah.
But like let's say you deal into a small hand, like it depends on like how small, right? I mean, like if it's like 2000 points, it's already bigger than this number. But so that's just about like folding. But like again, like in the game though, like you're trying to avoid the worst result, right? The worst result is dealing in directly.
Yeah.
In which case, like the EV would like be negative like 6000. I mean, this is just
it's awful.
So you're trying to avoid that, and so there's definitely lots of situations where you can afford to do this. It's just like some people like not you though. I mean, some people like fold too much. Like they just play like too passively, and not like you have to remember this is Ichi Mahjong is an attacking game. Like you do have to win some hands, or else like if you just don't win any hands and like nothing, like even if you don't deal in, you don't win any hands, the expected result is probably 4th.
Yeah.
Still. So here, like let's say you fold, like you also like keep in mind that like you have to try to balance out your EV. So let's say
Yeah.
you fold this three times, but like then you have one hand that like you try to win like a free hand or whatever. Like you had the EV chart above, and you have to try to kind of balance it, or else like you have negative EV. Like even negative EV sometimes like that might not be fourth. Like that might be like let's say you lose like 5,000 points, like that, like you're at 20k. That doesn't mean fourth, right? It just means it is obviously the more negative it is, the more likely you're gonna be fourth.
Yeah.
But in a four-player game, that does not mean necessarily, but like in the long run, that's not.
Yeah, it is nice to hear. It is nice and good to hear that idea of like, okay, yeah, you don't, folding is definitely good, but that can't be your only plan. Especially these last few, I guess, not even between the last session and this one, just even like before that, I was trying to get into this mindset of making sure that I didn't deal in as often as I could, just like avoid it at all costs, which is, it was good for helping establish that, establishing that strength of it, but that's not the be all end all. There's still more to the equation that you have to build on. Yes, it's still important to build up that, dodging and not dealing in and folding groundwork, but it doesn't stop there, essentially.
Yeah. Overall, it is an attacking game. Okay. So
yeah.
Like, at the end, like number one, like you cannot win if you don't win any hand. Like you just can't win. Like you just like it's gonna be either hard stuck in third or fourth, something like that. I mean.
Yeah. I think we got it.
Okay. So that's that. So like it's just like in this case, like giving you a number and also giving you a chart here telling you that like here though, like let's say if it's an early Ricci, then folding actually doesn't look as bad because like while the symbol rate goes, it doesn't actually go much higher than you think. Like
yeah, it's actually
because like you see how
it's only like 5%.
Yeah. And then this lateral movement is actually like quite a bit higher because like other people might not be able to fold. Like,
yeah, or they're just like trying. Yeah, they're trying to push in or whatever. Yeah.
Like maybe they're not. Maybe not even that. Maybe they're unable to fold. Like there's not enough tiles in the discard pile to give you anything. Like basically, sometimes like if it's early Ricci, they just look at it as like east west 9 so Ricci, and then like there's nothing you can fold on. So and then like the draw rate is actually lower too. So
right.
In this case, like the pink line's actually in the middle here, so that's actually not too bad. But like once it gets to like let's say in this case turn 9 is where the cross here happens, and the pink line actually becomes pretty bad here.
Right.
Okay, so so this figure is also quite important. So we're talking about let's say we're not talking like that first one is about folding, right? So we talk about the cost of folding. Now we talk about why we want to chase Ricci. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is a let's say
that's
Ricci.
actually really interesting to see.
There's a hidden agenda to this though. Like I gotta tell you afterwards. But
yeah, I mean, so the first thing that stands out for me is that dealing rate relatively is kind of consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like nothing's gonna really change. You're either gonna deal in or not.
Yeah, and you see how this win rate is way up here. Okay, let me read this. Okay, so figure 2.2, win rate and deal-in rate of Okage, Ryman, discarding a safe tile. These are quite a number of assumptions here. Okay, so so like we talked about someone reaching earlier.
What's Oikake?
It's chase Ricci.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we talk about like someone, one person Ricci, okay? And earlier, I don't know what turn it is, but like you're like not really folding at that moment, and you just drew the right tile, okay?
Oh, okay.
And you're thinking about whether you should chase the Ricci or not. Okay, that's what this.
Oh, okay, that's what this is. Oh, okay, this is what this is. Okay, cool.
Okay. Also the assumption is that you have a good weight. Okay, a
right.
a two-sided weight, another assumption is you're discarding a safe tile. Okay?
Yeah.
You're not discarding some Dora
Oh, man.
into into the Ricci. You're not discarding a middle tile. You're discarding a safe tile.
I
A
literally,
safe tile meaning
I
the,
don't know if I've ever encountered that situation where
where right?
yeah, where you have all those stars aligned under the pressure of someone else's Ricci.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, maybe the tile you have to throw is shiny. I've never seen that before. Let's see. So we talk about here, right? So like you see how like first of all these lines are actually quite flat. Okay, so that's one observation.
Yeah.
The second one is that you realize very quickly that this pink line is about 3 times the number for the of the gray line.
Yeah.
And when the pink line says win rate and the gray line says win rate, there is a strong suggestion of some like you should be doing this like every single time, but there's a
yeah, it's
little
not
thing
really
that,
factoring the other.
there's something that's missing here. Okay, so the missing thing is that there's actually a line right in the middle, like invisible line called opponent symbol. Okay.
Right.
So let's say you chase a Ricci. Basically that line is not does not show here because like it assumes like if you chase Ricci that and you don't win and that person wins on a symbol, they're gonna win on a symbol no matter if you chase Ricci or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this
Which
is
is
kind of
why,
an incomplete graph.
yeah, which is kind of incomplete, but like also kind of makes sense, and that's like you chase the Ricci and that person would have symboled anyway, most likely.
Right.
Like you folding or not, they would have done the same thing. But yeah, there's definitely a middle line that's missing here. Okay, so
Okay, cool.
it's not quite like this, but like it's not like a bad figure anyway. Like it's something you have to keep in mind. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think I got it.
okay. So it says here like these headings are so straightforward that you don't need to. Do not hesitate to chase with Ryman Tempai. And then the next one is actually kind of funny. In general, push against non-dealer Ricci.
Oh, damn. That's a bold statement.
Okay. Okay. So these are like just talk about the chase Ricci win rates. Okay. So let's say you throw a safe tile. The win rate is at 49%.
Okay, so this is the safe tile column is you when you reach it, you discard a safe tile.
Right.
Okay.
So on turn 8, your win rate is at 49%. Your deal rate is at 16%. Okay.
Right.
Which in most I would do it, right? I mean, like that is a pretty decent gap here. I mean, like especially if your hand has value. I mean,
Yeah.
like it also obviously depends on value, but the pure just looking at pure numbers, that doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Now we'll talk about a 10% tile here. This is a 10% danger tile, which means it's usually a non-Suji 1, 2, 3 or 7, 8, 9. It's not a middle tile. It's also non-Suji. Like Suji tile would not be 10%.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically like let's say you have to chase with like let's say a Tuso and non-Suji. You try to force it through and see what happens type of thing. Your win rate's at 44% and your deal rate's at 24%.
That figure's a lie. It's 100%.
Yeah, so like that makes a lot of sense though. Like you're throwing a 10% tile, right? So at that moment your deal rate is at 10%, so obviously your deal rate goes up from 16 to somewhere close to 10% off that. Okay. And your win rate goes down because like you might have dealt in here anyway, so obviously your win rate goes down. So these are numbers that are interesting. 10% house, like these are actually quite a bit closer, I would say, like 44 versus 24 or 40 versus 24. I mean, these are actually rather tight. I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's only a 3-turn difference. I mean, 3 turns is kind of a lot, actually.
Yeah, turn 14 is actually really late. Okay,
yeah.
So Turn 11's late second row. That's where like I think that the break even point is somewhere here. Turn 14, you not probably shouldn't do that, right? I
Right.
mean, there's only like 20 tiles left. What like just like unless your hand is like super like huge and like lots of weights and whatnot.
Yeah, you just like need, or you just need it.
So here's some EV charts, like an EV chart on this. Usually like on a 3 Hans, that's positive. 2 Hans, it's somewhere close to 0. But like if
Right.
you're folding, it's negative 1100. Remember?
Right.
So it's trying to tell you that like all of these are actually better than negative 1100. But at the same time, you it's not about like always doing the better EV play. Like it's summarizing like all the different like possibilities and summarizing into a like a very straightforward number, right?
Yeah.
So it's very simplistic, but this is
Yeah, there's a lot of context to it, but like as we've been pointing out with all these numbers, it's good to just like have it in the back of your mind.
Yeah. In general, also push against dealer reaching. Okay, so you can read that. Okay, so
Got one thing on the mind, and that's pushing Richi's.
Right. Yeah, Ricci versus Dama. I don't. Yeah, there's also even with bad shape Tempai chases. Okay, one Dora. Okay, so these are some
Right.
very straightforward headings. Yeah, I can't get any more straightforward than that. So after reading this book, usually for a lot of people, it's gonna tell you that you should reach it every single time.
Yeah, it's like I'm just like every title and everything is like, nah, just do it. On averages of 1 million games, like we've done on this computer, it is right to do it.
Yeah, I guess dealer Ricci 2 Hans is also barely worth pushing. So
Yeah, but like all of this is considering you have 1,000 games, like 1,000, 1 million games to kind of just go over and like get your averages. You'll get it. But when you're in those games, like you can't just rely on the averages for it because you're just like, how do I even describe this? You have to be a lot more careful about it. You can't just autopilot the percentages.
Right. It's something that's interesting, but like there's definitely like a lot of cases where like just folding or just making up your mind and you taking the 1100 penalty is a better like just in terms of this like not losing directly to the worst case situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I guess that's another thing that is not considering is that the delta of bad things that can happen to you isn't really considered in this.
Yeah, even like in fighting games, right? Like you don't like go like all out for like the ultimate move, like like I don't know, like it's just like different. Like usually you kind of like unless you're like you're back to at the wall and like you have to like force this like combination, right? Normally you're just gonna play like somewhat normally block.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're trying to keep it with fighting games, a lot of players will do is you tend to have these you have like combos in fighting games, and you tend to have simple and high execution combos. The simple combos may not do like as much damage, but you're gonna guaranteed hit them. Whereas the long combos, they'll get more damage in if you do it. But if you drop the combo, you're potentially in a very bad situation and you're going to get hit back. You may not even end up doing as much damage because you may mess up the combo early than you would the simple combo. And a lot of like, that's a lot of things that like top players like kind of consider when they're doing those fights, and even like top players or like mid-level players. Do I go for the super big stylish combo that I could potentially drop in order to try to win right now, essentially?
It's like a high risk, high reward versus keeping it steady and try to win with just skill, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, like it's high. Like obviously you can win like very like fancy, but like some like then like if it goes wrong, it really goes wrong, right? Like,
Yeah. I know a thing or two about that.
Yeah. So
I will say I have been very good recently about holding on to my cons, especially in positions where it's like, okay, I'm not going to be the one taking advantage of calling this con. So I'm not going to do it like right away or even at all. I'm slowly learning.
Like, yeah, you better like make sure that it's expected to be beneficial to you and not like someone else. You know,
Yeah.
like or else you're just like that's just gifting people points.
Yeah, for sure.
So one more like last thing we do, I guess, is take a look at one of your logs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just share that in the Discord
Yeah,
here.
let me share my screen. Let me get this set up for a sec. Stuff share. Again. Let me hope that doesn't end the call.
あら、
Okay, we're still in the
だわ
call.
ね。
Share my
私もちょう
screen.
どあなたのことを考えてたのよ。
No, I want to share the screen.
Okay, sure.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. So yeah, just I guess open up.
Not this one.
Okay.
Not that one. Let's look at this. All right, do you want to look at a bad one or a good one?
Probably a bad one.
All right, let's see what happened here.
Just check your stream. Yeah, it's loading properly. Okay. So here again, just I guess close other people's hands, I guess, and not see the.
Okay. How do I close?
Go to the spanner at the top like bottom left here. Like it's actually mid left.
Oh. Go hands. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
Just before anything happens, like just talk about like just strategy. Like, what do you think about this hand?
Okay. What do I think about this hand? It has potential.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as much as I can get.
Yeah, I mean, like overall, like I would call that not so great. Like you recognize, like if you just look at blocks, right? We see exactly 2 blocks.
Yeah, we have the 6, 7, 8 already done for us, and then this 5, 6, 6. Wait for us.
Yeah, you recognize it's missing 3 blocks, so you need to draw 3 tiles just to get to 5 blocks.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a heck of a long time to do. Like,
yeah, it's one of those like it's one of those hands where you're like, okay, you're kind of just like gutting your honors and just seeing how the first like couple of tiles end up.
Yeah, so like I mean like probably like the better you are at this game, the more you recognize this hand is bad.
Right.
So what is your strategy on this one?
How you approach this? By base, I'm gonna get rid of the west because it basically does nothing. Right. And then probably I'm basically just cutting my honors in order of like west and then white or east, whatever.
Okay.
And then I may cut this one earlier before these.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a this is what I think about this hand. So first of all, you cut the west. Okay, that's by default. Yeah. Okay, after that, in my mind, like you probably need to draw a east or a white dragon, or you're not gonna win this hand. I think like you need something like that to speed up the hand, or else like if you just draw everything normally, the hand's win rate is gonna be terrible.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good way to think about it. Okay,
so also that this hand is missing a lot of blocks. So like, yeah, we do have to get rid of this 1 and 9 and stuff like that. But I would prioritize keeping like let's say the white dragon around.
Okay.
Like, I might just keep 1. Might not keep both, but like depends on how things go. Like definitely you start with the west, and then you go with 1 so. And then maybe and then after that you kind of think about, oh, do I go with the 9 so? Because the 9 so actually makes some sense, right? It's a
yeah. And
like if you draw an 8, that's good. If you draw 4, that's fine. So this 9 has some value.
Yeah, it has some connection to it.
Yeah. So here I might that might keep the 9 over one of the honors, but like definitely I would try to keep at least an East or a White Dragon just to hope to get lucky on that. But
Right.
otherwise, like if nothing happens, this is a fold in the mid game basically.
Yeah. So your order is like Westwind, probably the one right here, and then kind of have to see where it goes, but one of these honors, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah. Also, like recognize this is most likely not a Tan Yao. It's not painful. It's not it's not anything. Like you do kind of like the only thing that could speed up the hand is Yakuhai. So therefore, that's why I want to prioritize that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's look at the next hand. Okay, so I guess the first one was a kind of a draw. So
yeah, it looks like a no 10 draw. Yeah, it was a no 10 draw.
Okay, so like now, like we recognize that the pot is there's two Rishi sticks here and a Honda stick. That changes things too. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, also keep a note. This is a South game. I started.
Okay.
I was doing. Right now, my my flow for doing games is I'll do East games when I'm trying to get like basically a video to make for YouTube. And now once I get that, I switch over to South games.
Yeah, just getting a feel for both of them, and at the end, like if you really still like East games, I'm not the type that like you could keep doing that, and there are like lots of Saints that just play East games. I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so this hand, first of all, what do you think about it? Like, is it?
Let's see. Got a Dora, and it's got 1, 2 blocks already. Everything else is kind of floated.
Right. So again, like 3 blocks is like you obviously you want your hand to have 5 blocks to start, right? That almost never happens, but that's what. And then a little bit below that is 4. Like 3 is actually like not so great either. I mean, so here like also recognize that like the 7-9 is also like this Dora, but like it's not a great shape. 1, 2, 3, 4 is fine, but like there's definitely quite a bit of work here to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be
so there's another one. Yeah, it's another one that's it's probably not going to work out. Probably consider folding it if once things play out.
This one has a little bit of potential. The first one was that one was bad. This one is like more or less average, slightly below average, but like something you can work on. So you start like what's the strategy?
Cut the red dragon. Cut the red dragon, then into the 9. Then probably the 1 right here, and then kind of just go from there, depending on what I draw. That's kind of like my discard order.
Okay, so in terms of accuracy, right? Like this 1 mon here is it's actually the worst tile in this hand because like you have a 4 right here.
Yeah. Okay. So I should. Yeah.
So that 1 is like that like how like you know how like if you have a suji of like let's say you have 4 and you have a 1, like the 4 and 1, the 4 overlaps and covers every tile that the 1 would have, like that 2 and a 3 also.
I get that for sure, and I know that. I think it's just like mentally I didn't have that as high priority of discard compared to like a lone honor tile. But yeah, that's actually I can see why that's correct.
Yeah, so that's the and then after that here like the 9 and the chun are actually pretty close. Like there are different situations, like if your hand doesn't have enough blocks, then you keep the 9, which in this case it looks like the 9 is a little more important. But there are other hands where like there are enough blocks and there's no use for the chun. So so there are some things about that, but like the 1 mon is definitely the worst tile in this hand.
Yeah, this one, right? Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so again, in terms of points, it's kind of even. I mean,
it's based. Yeah,
it's not significant. Okay, so what do you think of this hand?
couple of honors, but not enough to like try to push for 13 orphans or anything like that. We got this red 5 here that's like connected to this 4. That's pretty sweet. We have this right here, so it's not bad. So
how many blocks are here?
Let's see. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's actually pretty bad.
Yeah, so that's something you have to like look at, like be able to identify a bad hand. Okay. So
Okay, that's fair.
kind of important. Okay.
Okay,
so,
cool, for sure.
Okay, so like the way this is like you can actually like obviously you can look at it as 2-4 and 5, like 2-4 so and 5-5, but like no like we don't want to use 5 as a pair, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, you don't want to.
Yeah, so like this hand is basically like 2.5 blocks or something like that. There's so many like loose tiles and bad honors, and like basically the win rate of this hand is really low. Again, I don't know. That's like what do you think this should be the strategy here?
So my plan is to utilize this red 5 because I am a one-trick pony when it comes to it. So we're discarding south into north, and then probably the 9,
right?
And then just kind of these,
just go
then like kind of go for the flow chart and just hope.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, another thing to recognize is there's no special Yaku for this hand. There's no Sanshoku. There's no Tanyao. There are plenty of hands that are like that. There's no Yaku you can see.
Yeah.
But like that's something you also have to recognize when you play, right? Like you don't want like suddenly all of a sudden like discarded 6 tiles and then figure out, oh, I missed my Sanshoku or whatever.
Yeah, that happens. That happens to me a little more often than I care to.
Yeah, there's also a very slight possibility of the half flush here, but you do have a 5-6 pin, and that's one of the blocks. And if you have to break that, then your hand is just
it's dead.
Complete impossible. So like you do have to try to use that if this hand even has any chance of.
Let me switch over to my Mahjong camera. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so like if you wipe out the 5-6 pin, and then this hand really has like absolutely nothing. So
yeah.
Okay. So next one.
See, how's the next one?
Okay, how's this one?
A whole lot better.
Yep.
Whole lot better. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks kind of set up already.
Yeah. So this hand does obviously make sense here. Like I mean, like the only thing you're missing is a pair, right?
Yeah.
Also, like, what's the strategy here then?
Discard the north. Probably then Green Dragon or East. I'm actually curious between like discarding a Green Dragon or discarding a Wind. Is there a real like priority?
There's a difference actually. Yeah. Now you ask. Usually you discard the East first because there's a possibility of double East.
Okay.
So you get rid of the East. Try to
try to get it out quicker. Give them less time to get it.
Yeah, so like for wins, that's how that works. For dragons, it's kind of the same.
Right.
I mean, like the 3 different dragons are kind of the same, but for wins, you should get rid of the double whatever it is. Like sometimes it's double south.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's double east. So you get rid of that before.
Okay, so would you turn 1 get rid of the east or turn?
No, just turn 1. Just play it normal. Get rid of the north, and then after that, get rid of the east, and then after that, get rid of the green dragon. Because there's a chance for this hand, there's a chance of all simples.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the overall strategy when we talk about strategy. Like
what Yaku you're going for?
Which Yaku this hand could go for. Like other than like what tiles to throw, you also have to recognize, oh, does this thing have which direction we're taking, right? So that's part of strategy.
Buddy. Sorry, I got my cat in front of me right now. You can see.
Okay, let's look at
And
the
I
next
was
one.
ignoring him all day, so he is
I
trying to
see.
make up for lost that time. Anyway, and
Oh, also
I
now that
dealt in on that one. Jeez.
yeah, even before that it was pretty bad, but now it's even worse. So like this is something obviously we are playing from quite a bit behind. That's
Yeah.
something that's important. Okay, so what do you think about this hand?
Like not that great. I mean, we got one block done already. That's like all we got going. I mean, we got this. We have like potential. I mean, we have blocks, but they're not great blocks.
Right.
And
So
probably
would you
knowing
play?
me, if I'm this down bad, I see this north Dora, and I'm like, oh, I gotta make something of it, man, because I got it, and I'm so far behind. I need to do something.
Right.
So knowing me, I probably held on to this a lot longer than I needed to, and this was not my first discard.
Yeah, so you do need to try to hold it. However, at the
Oh,
same
that was
time,
lucky. Yeah,
that's a nice draw.
yeah.
Okay,
That
so
that changes everything.
okay, at the same time though, at the same time you do have to look at how many dealer turns you have left, right? So you haven't got to your dealer yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So like E4 you have, and it's a south game, you have 2 dealer turns. So like it's E3, you are behind, but like you want to try to like here it's okay to win a bit of a smaller hand. You don't have to force this north as hard as some other times, but like
Right.
yeah, it would be nice to have, but like it's also really hard to get it to work.
Yeah, you shouldn't go out of your way for it.
Yeah, so here after like seeing this, for example, like for example, if someone throws a green dragon, what would you call that?
I think we went over this a lot. I'm trying to remember what I did. I think I do take it just because I'm trying to get dealer.
Yeah, I probably want to try to look at it from like a more objective. Like you don't have to try to remember what you did. It's about like we talked about it from just trying to look at it more objectively.
Yeah, I'm also trying to think of like what I would have done.
What would you have done? So yeah, this one once you did that, this hand should be tried for a quick hand.
Yeah, I probably would have also taken like gone for the quick hand just for the, and I think I actually did this for the mental reset of okay, I can win a hand.
Right. Like you do need that, yeah. It's also getting yourself right to dealer. I mean that's also like losing any more points, you have run the risk of running below 0. I mean,
yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Getting the dealer is like the technically correct like answer, but I know I'm like fairly certain this hand was like I grabbed it quick because I needed to see my name on the victory screen for a moment just to feel better about myself going to the rest of the game. It was all mental.
Yeah, so here after seeing this, obviously the first drop would be the red dragon.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's in my mind it's probably the north because because this 4-pin, like what happens is like you want to use the 4-pin and try to improve on one of these bad shapes. Like the 8-9 and 1-3 are pretty darn bad. So like if you can draw something into the 4, that would be oh, you went that. You went like that.
Yeah, I got rid of the.
Yeah, so that one you went back to Shanten. So that
I went back to Shanten. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, so try not to do that. Yeah.
Okay, then I did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the part where I'm just like, I think my mindset was like, oh, I should cut these. I'm gonna cut these. I'm probably gonna cut these eventually. So let me just do it. And I just order of operations is what actually kills me a lot.
Right. Like here, once you pawn the green dragon, right? Like you recognize it. Obviously, it's not Tan Yao anymore. You can use whatever tiles you need to use to finish. That's
yeah.
Like yeah. Other times, like maybe you run into like these try to break the block for Tan Yao, right? We talked about that, but Like this one is not even like that, right? You just pawn that and just try to finish the hand as quick as possible, and that would require dropping the 4-pin. It is loose, so like saying how much potential, like it's not unrealized potential, right? It's just a potential. So
Yeah.
like at some point you need to get rid of it. I mean, it's just
Yeah, it's gonna have to happen eventually.
And you cannot value that more than a block. Like let's say a 1-3. Obviously,
Okay.
that's going to be better than the 4.
Okay, so when I'm going fast with like this call, I just need to not think about the potential of like better weights and just try to get what I can.
Yeah, you basically once you pawn this, your strategy is win as quickly as possible, and
Okay.
there's no more potential after that. You're just calling tiles from Kamicha or from the player from your left and try to get the hand done. Yeah, there's not much more potential. Like you don't have time to like tinker and try to get a good weight. Like it's just try for a quick win.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, let's look at the next one.
I did win that hand.
Okay. So what about this one? Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm holding on to this east for knowing me. I'm probably holding on to this east for a little bit.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Just because I'm the double thing. And then I'm dropping the 1 here.
Right.
And then after that,
what's the next drop after that? And that's the question.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I don't.
Well, let's use the example here. Let's give it a couple of turns. So,
Let's see what I actually did. I did drop the east.
Okay.
Interesting. I did drop. What was that?
Because you drew the 8th pin.
Yeah, I drew the 8th there. So yeah, I needed weights. I just needed acceptance on weights.
Okay, so here, like, we're talking about just efficiency. The 1 soul is what you can drop.
Oh, I thought. Yeah, from here, this is what I can. Yeah, this actually looks a little better because this is. I think I was so locked. Like that's the thing that that's a mental habit that I really need to break. Is whenever I see like the pairs set up, I think to myself, no, I need to hold on to these because these are my pairs. I need to hold on to them. And that the flexibility of the pair is not something I'm like not fully comfortable with yet, and it's causing me.
Yeah, here like the situation changed, right? You drew an 8-pin, and that kind of makes your 4-pin into a pair. I mean, that's why.
Yeah.
Before it wasn't like that, right? Before it was 4-4-6 and didn't look like a pair. So like that's why that. Even like go back a turn for a second. Let's start from the very beginning here. The first drop is we know that's 1
Yeah.
And then after that, in my mind, it's probably still 1 soul, but like the east is actually also possible. Like obviously the east is for double east, right? But
yeah,
like,
it's really
at
valuable.
the same time, you are the dealer, and you don't want to lose too much efficiency and win percentage, right?
Right.
So you're just trying to like, for example, throw the 1 soul in my mind, like, oh, okay, that doesn't. You're not losing too many tiles you doing that, and still allows you to do double east. That's why I do that. But like,
yeah, I like that.
But like at the same time, throwing the east is also usually not wrong. Okay. Because
okay, I think.
Yeah, so that's definitely not wrong. Okay, so that's important to note. That's not wrong. It's just the 1 soul is a possibility. Like,
okay.
That's usually okay. So because like it is really hard to do the double east anyway. Like you have to draw exactly an east, and then someone else has to throw it.
Yeah, but the value is like so high if it happens. Like my general rule is that I'll linger on this double east at the very least until like maybe turn 5. Give or take, like turn
Yeah,
4 or
I
5, give or take.
but then like if you think about it slightly differently, like let's say you draw another East, which that has to have some luck. Okay, so you draw East and someone throw it, that's still just 2 hands. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you go normally, you could maybe do a like Rishi Pinfu. That's 2 hands. I mean, or Rishi
That's
Pinfu
true.
something. I mean, like Rishi Sumo Pinfu. That's 3 hands. I mean, that's why like these values are all like relative. Like
Yeah.
if you pawn the East, that is a 2 hands locked in, but then you're
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
not getting any more Hans anywhere else.
right. So there's some different ways of thinking about it. Like once you open your hand,
I like that. I like that way of thinking about it a lot better. I should.
Yeah, that's why we want to keep our hand closed often than not, right? Then it gives you more potential for like the bigger hands. Once you start calling, you kind of like locked into on your hand value, right? And,
Yeah.
Like if you pawn the East, then you know this is a 2 hand, unless you draw like a Dora or a red tile or or like go for like I don't know, 6, 7, 8 SS. That doesn't happen. I'm just trying to like. There's no other Yaku. That's
Yeah, there's like really nothing else reasonably go for.
Yeah. So these are things that you look at on. So which is why, like, if you throw the East, I'm not gonna say that's wrong. Okay, that's
Fair
fine.
enough. Okay.
The one so is the also a normal drop. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Okay. So what do you think about this one?
That red 5 poggers. I am the north. I have this. So I'm probably gonna. No, I'm not gonna get rid of the 1 quite yet. I shouldn't get rid of the 1 quite yet because I still have the 2. Ultimately, drop green dragon, then probably the north, and then depending how the rest of my hand plays out, probably drop these.
Okay. Okay. So this hand, like first of all, like we recognize it has 4 blocks. Okay. So 2, 3, 5,
Yep.
6, 8, 8, and west.
Mhm.
Okay. So
like,
it's missing 1 block. Okay. So
Yeah.
now this hand, first of all, like this Dora 7. Okay. So 7-1. Okay. So you kind of have to assume that's a block. Like you're not.
Yeah, I'm
like,
not gonna throw it away, and
Right.
it's
So
like got a lot of
that's probably
acceptance.
just left here. Okay. So another way, like your hand, like so the way of thinking about this is the 1 pin and 1 so is the value is very low because you most likely already have 5 blocks, maybe even 6. I mean, like it's just like you're not going to use the 1 so very often. You're
Right.
probably not going to use the one pin very often. You probably want to, like, for example, ideally like want to draw like obviously one of the dragons, like,
Yep.
and then pawn into that. That's what you. So here, like for for like how to play this hand is in this case drop the 1 so and 1 pin first.
Okay, you would drop the 1 solo 1 bit.
Right. Like also
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
quite as-
Because I already have my blocks.
yeah, also like you probably want to get one of the Yakuhai triplets to try to finish the hand properly.
Right.
Otherwise, you have a pair of West and you have a pair of 8 pin. That's kind of a little bit awkward. I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot.
it's just yeah. So I think for speed and for potential, that's what I would do.
Okay.
And obviously hoping to draw into the 7-man and finish the hand some like either one way or the other. But like I would think that I would not use the 1 so or 1 pin.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't hold on. Okay.
So next hand. Yeah, so we went
Oh, that was lucky. Yeah.
yeah, in the right direction, I would say. So
Okay, cool.
okay, cool.
I think someone's in mode. Yeah.
Mhm. So here, like, we're quite a bit of gap over here. So like, I'm kind of expecting like it's really gonna not gonna be it's gonna be really hard to expect like a catching up before South 4. Like you
Yeah.
have to mangan direct hit somebody. Like it's not gonna be easy. Like I'm thinking like you probably strategically want to just kind of move the game along until South 4, and then that's when you
That's when I tried it. Yeah.
yeah. So here, what do you think about this hand?
Let's see. Four blocks.
Mhm.
None of them are done though, and no pay. Yeah, his hands. It's rough.
Yeah, it's a little below average. I
A little
mean,
below average. Potential
it's
though.
yeah, it's playable. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's play
especially
like the. I mean, yeah. The issue is that like the blocks that I have are kind of on terminals, so at least two of them. So even then, like, there's not a lot of acceptance to kind of expand out the hand. Like even if I have like blocks that aren't complete, if they're kind of in the middle, they'll have a lot of. I don't really.
okay. Yeah, so recognizing this is a basically you have to reach you this one. Like
Yeah.
there's no Yaku. I don't see anything.
Oh yeah, at this point, I think at this point, I think I'm exclusively.
Yeah, like this hand though, like you do want to keep the West around for a bit. I also want to keep the nine man around for a
Yeah.
bit. Just in case you get a triplet on West and just win a quick hand that way. Because like again, like this hand's win percentage is not very high. So just either try for a quick win or try to greed for the 9 man and get a bigger one. But like either way, it doesn't look like it's winning. So either way. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay.
I think I dealt. No, it dealer pass.
Okay, so
How about that one? Oh, I dealt into that right here.
okay, it's not a big deal. Okay, okay, what do you think about this hand?
Uh,
Yeah,
a
I mean,
little
well, we
potential.
can see it's yeah, this is 5 blocks. So, um, like first of all, like you like it probably needs a lot more practice, but like just looking at it and seeing the blocks, right? Just
That's definitely like that's definitely something I recognize that I need to put more time in. That would be helpful for me. Is just like going through hands, even if it's just like the efficiency tracker, not even going through it, but just have auto generated hands go through how many blocks are there, how many blocks are
right. So like let's say 1-3 is a block, 7-8 is a block, 1-3 is a block, 2-2 and 3-3, that's 5 blocks. That's why like that should be once you get the hang of it, it should be pretty quick.
Yeah, this is just
this is a, yeah, this is a free Shantan, which is actually okay. I mean, like the blocks are bad, but like you could conceivably get this done.
yeah, and there's like a non-zero chance that we get like a mixed.
Yeah, it's also that, and also like the Dora is 6 man, so okay, just like I think calling anything, but just play it very normally. Drop the White Dragon, try to use the 7 pin 8 so try to get better blocks. I mean, looks very standard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at the next one. So now we're South 4. Now how do we go about this one?
Uh,
Well, how good is this hand first of all?
I'm actually having a hard time identifying the shape. So
Yeah, 6-7
or the blocks.
right?
6-7, that one's easy.
Yeah, 3, 3, 4, 5 is 2.
Okay, this is considered. Yeah, this is considered 2 because it could be the pair, or just like.
Okay,
Then I
1, 2, 3
have.
is 1, and then 3, 5 is 1.
Oh yeah, this is 1, 2, 3 is 1. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
1, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, so that's a 5. So this is a 2. This is a 2 Shanten because you have 1, 2, 3 is complete. Basically, this is a good hand. Okay, so
Right.
and this is more or less playing itself. Like you just have to drop the 1 and 9, like 1 man 9 pin in any order, and then hopefully maybe draw for an upgrade. Maybe get something that works with like either 3 soul, 5 soul, or 8 soul somewhere around there.
Right.
Get a 2-sided weight, but like I don't see. Then obviously this is going to be a Ricci, so
Yeah, because we gotta
just take a look and see what happened here. So just make sure you do.
drop the 9. We get the 2. Drop the 1. That's what we expected.
Mm-hmm.
I have an 8 here. I probably.
You dropped the 8. Okay.
Yeah, I dropped the 8 bamboo and it got taken.
Okay. And
And
what
then immediately regret it. Actually, I still have.
Yeah, it's fine. So what did you do here? Oh, okay. You dropped the 8. Oh, you pawned that. Yeah, that's not.
I think I recognized that was bad during this, and then I was just like put on it. I was just like in a state of desperation.
Yeah, let's go back for a second. Let's go back 1 second here. So here, like let's step right into like dropping the 8, right? You drop the 8 here. So so here you drop the
or the 8, yeah.
I can see why you do it. It's actually not as bad as you think. So
I mean, when I say like immediately regret it, that's one of those like I have to like make a decision, and they're about equal. It's just unlucky of like which one could have like forked out into like a possible like help for you. I mean, that's just Mahjong though.
Yeah, the thing I would care about is whether this pawn helped you on moving forward, right? It's about keep getting your hand forward, and the pawn actually did that. So let's move through that for a second. Yeah, so here, like you see that, what did you have to drop something here, right? Like let's click on this arrow for a second.
Yeah, let me just play it out.
Okay, sure.
Okay, they played that, and I'm just like, I take it.
Yeah, and then here, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so here you're Iishaten, right? So
yeah,
and that you did go from like you established a pair here, which is why it looked like that. Before it wasn't this, so that's why. Oh, you went that. Okay, stop.
Yeah,
go back. Go back to turn 6.
Go
up a little bit, maybe.
When I dropped the 7.
Yeah, that's where it went wrong, right? Yeah, you can't do that. Okay, so then you definitely went backwards.
I think I realized that afterwards. Yeah, I think I realized that afterwards, but I think I was just like mental shortcutting. Oh, the 6-6-7 shape is very good. Like that, I think that's a thing that I need to like be better on, is not just autopiloting the like the good shapes and weights, but really kind of better contextualize when the shapes are actually good for me. I do it sometimes, like I do it an okay amount of times, but when I'm under pressure like this, I just get stressed out.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing about the 6-6-7, right? Like it looks nice, but like the 6, like the doubles, like at the end, like it's a Ranman shape, right? Like the most important thing is the 6-7. The other 6 is helpful, but like it's not really that important. Also, like at the same time, 3-3-4-5. You recognize that obviously that's a 3-4-5. The other 3 is kind of another extra thing that's helpful. Like these are extra things, right? Like you drop a 6, that's almost never wrong. Like but the 5-7 is part of your 5 blocks, so that's where the 5 block theory type of thing comes in. Yeah, but the 3 deals in. That's
I mean, that
unfortunate,
was kind of. I think I remember being upset about that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, but like just in terms of can we go back like maybe a few turns?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, obviously the 7 was a problem. Okay, so we'll go back a few turns. Go back another turn. Okay, here. So yeah, I don't think that's yeah. So okay, drop the 8 here. Okay. Yeah, it's just this guy like called 3 times, went super fast. Like
Yeah, he just
there's no way you could stop
yeah, he just
that.
got it. Yeah, like he was in first place. He got white dragons. He got out super quick.
Yeah. So that was fine, but like obviously the 7, so something you have to keep in mind. I think like overall, like just be very careful on breaking anything. Like it's just
Yeah,
that's actually breaking a shape, right? The 6-6-7, if you drop a 6, that's not breaking a shape. That's just getting
yeah, it's
rid of
maintaining
one
the
of
shape.
the
All right, that's a good takeaway.
yeah. Also, like 3-3-4-5, you drop the 3. That usually doesn't break a shape. Sometimes it does, but
Right.
like depends on how many blocks your hand has. But like especially the 6-6-7, usually like dropping a 6 is very normal. That doesn't break anything.
Right. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Before we head out, before we finish this, chat, do you all have any last minute questions to give to Wrath? Oh, and also, Wrath, where can people find you? They
Yeah,
want
for
to
sure.
try to learn more about Mahjong.
Yeah, so my let me just type it. I guess type it out or
Yeah,
you
go for
gotta-
it.
Okay, so
Yeah, you can type it out in the chat. It'll also show up on the stream because I have like the chat showing there.
okay, sure. So that's my Twitch channel, on my YouTube channel.
Yep, you can go see him at twitch.tv / Wrath_SS.
Yeah, the same thing about YouTube. Yeah, that's also share the link to my Discord here if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it. Please do.
Okay, so
Yeah, I know a lot of like the top players like trolling around in your Discord, so it's a really great place to ask questions.
generate new link, copy. Yeah, probably put this. Just copy these so you can put it into your YouTube.
Yeah, I have it from the last video. I'm just gonna copy those over, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I just generated a new Discord link, so I didn't.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, let me just grab that Discord link just in case. Is that a permanent one?
Yeah, that one's a permanent one. Yeah.
Okay.
I just need a new one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just throwing it in our chat just so I have it listed. All right. Cool. I don't know when we're gonna do the next session. Maybe I do kind of want. I don't want to do the last one so quick because I kind of want to play get a few games under this and see what settles and what sits.
Mhm.
So
yeah, probably need to absorb some of this. There's a lot of things that we went through, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
no, that's something that I learned. Like I immediately like on our last lesson. After you left, I immediately jumped into the games, kept the stream going, and I like got 2 4th place in a row because I was just like, I'm trying to use what I learned, but I didn't really quite like. I didn't really internalize it yet, so I'm just like, oh god, what do I do here? What did I do? What did I learn? I just learned this. Oh god, it felt like I was like in like a school exam essentially.
blocks.
But yeah,
Okay.
next lesson, I'll probably try to get it scheduled sometime like what 2 weeks from now, give or take. That's about how long.
Something like that. Something between 2 to 4 weeks, something like that. Yeah, just depending on our schedules and stuff. But yeah.
And if you want to look back at this recording, I'll have it up on my YouTube channel. Hopefully. Probably tomorrow, definitely by tomorrow. I don't think it'll be able to get it up tonight because it takes a while to render and download and do all that jazz. But yeah, any last bits? Are we all good?
I think we're all good. So
all right, cool. Yeah. All right, Wrath. Thank you again so much for this lesson. I've definitely learned a lot.
All right, take care.
All right, you have a good one, Wrath. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Awesome. Once again, all right, that was Wrath_SS, one of the top players on Mahjong Soul, and just one of the really nice, one of the nicest Mahjongers out there for sure. All of y'all are nice, but Wrath is a special kind of nice. All right, that is going to be it for me tonight. I'm not going to play another game. I'm not going to play a game because I don't want to feel as bad to like not actually apply what I got. But let me see. Who can we raid? If you like the and once again, if you like me, if you like the content, you like the Mahjong that we do here, please hit the follow button. Wrath, is Wrath going to stream? Yeah, all right, we're going to send you over to Wrath. So if you have any more questions about him or get to see someone who is actually good at the game implement all the stuff they taught, it's a good place. So we'll send you guys over to Wrath's stream in a minute. Will it let me raid Wrath if he's online, or would that be weird? I mean, most of you guys, I think, came from like Wrath's Discord for the most part, but I think a few of you haven't. Okay, cool. Let me raid Wrath over here. Grizzpiff, yeah, what's your question?
This is Boot Shabby.
The question for me, I can answer it. Oh, what's the cat's name? Oh, his name's Luke. And if you're in here enough and you get enough channel points, you can spend your channel points for me to go fetch Luke. That's the only reward that I have in there because I can't think of anything else. I don't have emotes yet. I don't have anything to unlock, but I can promise you a cat. Oh yeah, we're all about it. All right, let's see. Okay, there it is. Let me send you guys over to Wrath, hopefully. All right, there it is. Great. Our raid, please. He like just started, so it's kind of taking a minute to get figured out. Okay, there it is. I'm already raiding, Wrath. On Twitch. What? I'm trying so hard to raid and it's not letting me. Times the charm. 8. Maybe if I trying to give them the... Okay, there we go. I just needed a refresh. All right, once again, thank you so much for coming by. Hope you had a great time. I don't know when my next stream is going to be. At the very, very, very latest, I'll be streaming this time next week. And we'll be doing more Mahjong. No, I just needed to like refresh it. It was like being weird because he hadn't like gone online yet. All right, have a good one, everyone.